And now for something completely different.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever
Hey.
it may be. Welcome to Make Comics Great Again. I'm your host, Mike S. Miller. This is Art of the Hero with Mike S. Miller. Tonight with me, for starters, David Sean of Oddity fame. David Sean, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Why don't you tell real quick our audience here? Oh, let's say hi to the audience. What's up, Trash Fire, Gigantic Android, Vlad, Riot, P Money, Gotham Knight, Jeff Putz. Scrolling. Indie Dave Comics, Peter Mike, Timotei, and everybody else coming in. What's up, everybody? David Sean, tell us about yourself. We need to get to know you because you guys have all seen Oddity, I'm sure, here and there on Twitter and elsewhere. But I've never had David on before, and I invited him on tonight so we could chat, get to know him, and see a little something about his comic books.
Alrighty, what do you want to know? I've been into comics since I was now in elementary school. The first comic I bought was Ninja Turtles. I collected ball mostly through high school. Then after high school, my monetary priorities changed. So I had to really stop collecting for about 20 years. And then a few years ago, I sold my whole collection to buy a dog for my kids. And then, I had like the first appearance of Deadpool. I had some pretty decent, pretty decent issues. And then one day I was on YouTube and Zach videos started popping up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching, Zach videos. And I was looking at some of the comics he was roasting, and I was like, I think I could do better than that. So I went online and looked up how to write a comic script. I wrote a couple of scripts, and I got on Twitter. I met a couple of artists, did a couple of little small, personal projects. And then I started my own YouTube show. I got Sweens on, who's my artist.
Mm-hmm.
I had him on a couple of times, and the third time I had him on, he was showing off the Oddity art that he was doing because it's completely his project, his character, the whole deal. So I showed off, and then we had him on, and after the show, he was like, "Hey, you want to write the book for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he was wasted. I mean, he was totally drunk. And I was, and in my mind, I'm thinking, "Oh, you know what? He had some falling out with his writer." And tomorrow he's going to sober up, and they're going to be cool again. And a few days later, I got a hold of him, and I was like, "Hey, you still want me to work on this with you?" And he was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And he sent me the first 15 pages that he'd already done, and I was like, "All right, what's going on here?" And he's like, "Tell you what, you look at the pages, you figure it out. Tell me what you think. Do a script for me." He was basically testing me. He wanted to see what I was going to do with it. So I looked at it, and I did my own little thing. And then I said, all right, but first I want an establishing shot. So I'd like for you to do, one page. It's a full page of the swamp where the whole thing starts. And this is my take on what's going on in these pictures. And he looked at it and he's like, yeah, all right, cool. We're good to go. And, we negotiated a little bit of money and here we are.
Awesome. How long have you been on the project?
Since May, I think.
Since May?
May or June.
That's funny because I had a similar situation with Lullaby. I don't know if you know what Lullaby is. It's a book I published a long time ago. But yeah, the artist Hector Sevilla, he had these pages, and it was just like him drawing a story, and it didn't really make sense. But he was such a great artist, and I was like, I love the concept, and so I was like, hey, let's actually make. Write a story that you can draw. Mm-hmm. And so we used the pages that he had, and I think we ended up breaking them up into a couple different scenes that we interwove throughout the first book. And then, so very similar steps to what you were doing. And we did make it work out. Vlad says, I'm guessing Mike killed Daenerys. Oh, because of the throne. Yeah.
Oh.
I can change my background. I don't have to be sitting in the Iron Throne. That's all right.
Some of the other stuff we did, I scripted that first, 7 or 10 pages or whatever it was. And then we went over some of the stuff afterwards. And I'm like, okay, well, narratively, this makes more sense if we put this frame over here and this frame over here, and we mixed around some stuff, and I guess essentially that's what you said you were doing with that other guy, and he's really cool. He's really cool about taking credit. I mean, I'm not an art critic, so all of his art is just amazing. His character jumps off the page; it always looks like a sprung rubber band.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a cool artist, so I'm not like an art critic, but narratively, I can say, okay, well, this might work a little bit better this way or that way or that kind of stuff.
Right. Storytelling.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Artists aren't always the greatest storytellers. They might be able to draw a great pinup or, a great splash page or whatever, but it's a storytelling medium. So it's very, very important that people are capable of telling a story or having someone behind their shoulders that can tell them.
Also, I mean, he had someone else working on it with him. So it could be, they probably just had a different story going than what what I was going to put together.
Right
I don't just take over he still has full input and all that stuff, but it's very collaborative the way we put stuff together. And this one is different than what I would like. Normally what I would do is my general idea is write up the script, give it to the artist and say, hey, look, this is the script that I wrote, but you're the artist, I kind of trust you more visually than me as the writer thinking it. So take this as more or less a suggestion, and as long as the story gets to the same place, we're good to go.
All right. That's good. So what is Oddity actually about?
So Oddity is this one isn't going to be the origin story, but we're going to get hints of the origin. We're going to jump right into action with this one. But Oddity is basically the story of this kind of teenage jackass dirtbag, and it's very thematically like Spider-Man. He gets these weird, gets mutated into this frog thing and gets weird frog powers.
Oh,
and he can't live at home anymore because he's this freak. So he runs into the swamp. The swamp is kind of magic. It has all these other weird kind of urban legend type creatures that live there. So he runs into the swamp. There's like a spirit that's in charge of the swamp that basically says, hey, look, there was this chemical accident and the swamp is polluted. I have to focus all my magic on healing the swamp. I need you to keep the people out. Basically, he's the guardian of the swamp. He needs to keep the people out, and he needs to keep all the creatures in as much as he can because if the people come in, it's dangerous for the people and it's dangerous for the creatures that live there. So, and he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. He doesn't really like it. He doesn't really want a job because he's lazy and irresponsible. So he does his job, and one day he does it wrong because he just wants to show off for this girl. He does his job wrong, and he accidentally creates monsters that wreak havoc on the local town. And at first he's like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just a punk ass kid. Or he doesn't say that, but I mean, he doesn't want to deal with it, but he has to learn how to be in tune with the swamp to really use his powers and become responsible to save the swamp. It's a lot of comedy. I mean, there's that kind of underlying theme, but it's a lot more comedy, horror, that kind of stuff. It's a little bit of trauma, a little bit of Evil Dead. There's going to be a lot of humor. Awesome. It's a comedy horror romp.
I need to grab it, and I'm going to put it up on the screen so people can actually see it while you're talking about it.
P Money says he didn't have much money right now, but he wanted to check it out. He bought the digital Oddity. Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, right on.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, and guys, keep putting the link up in the description. Here it is, Oddity. Let's see what you got. 14,535 by 275 backers. That's not too shabby for a 48-page graphic novel.
Two newbies.
Yeah,
never done comics before, really.
It's fantastic. When did you launch? When did you launch?
We launched September 1st.
Oh, September 1st. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you did 2 months, 2019. Right
yeah,
on.
we were fully funded in a day and a half. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So everything else up there has been kind of gravy.
Beautiful.
We put the digital stuff up especially for international customers because we have to charge extra for overseas shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's good for digital for the people. It also helps us a little bit on getting on maybe offsetting some of the shipping costs. We're not 100% sure what they're going to be. We kind of guessed based on other projects the other campaigns that we've seen. We can kind of have a rough guess, but we want to make sure that we're not going to sink ourselves on crazy shipping.
Yeah, no, that can tend to be a problem, man. With a 48-page book, it's not too bad, but when you start bundling stuff together, like 2 or 3 of these books together, watch out.
Yeah. And we've kept it down. The only heavy thing, quote unquote, we have, Sweens is a 3D artist.
Mm-hmm.
So he does 3D modeling and stuff like that. And we have a 3D, not an action figure, like a figurine model that you can paint and put together, or you can opt to have him put together and paint for you.
Mm.
And that's one of the options you can have. And that's going to be, I don't remember I think we put a little bit extra for shipping on that one. It should be. But I mean, that's a separate tier you can get. We only have a few of those because those are a little pricey to make, but they're super cool looking.
Where is that down at the bottom here? Figurine.
That's it right there. Yeah.
$150.
You're also getting a book and you're getting all the other stretch goals.
That's actually not bad for a sculpt.
Yeah.
Original art pages, very nice.
Still get plenty of those original art pages. He does everything digitally. So basically, for the original art pages, what he's going to do, he's going to blue line a few of the pages, and then he's going to ink those by hand, and then he'll scan them for the book, and they'll make those ones available for the customers.
Right on.
Backers.
How far along is it?
We just submitted the first 26 pages to Eric Weathers, and those should be done this week. And then we're going to release the first 12 pages, and that should give you a good sense of the beginning of the story and where the story is at, and you'll get a sense of my writing.
Right on. So, what the hell is he eating?
That fly is like his Jiminy Cricket. It's like about the size of like a songbird. It's a huge fly.
Oh yeah.
It's like his Jiminy Cricket, like his Obi-Wan Kenobi. It helps him do his little connection to the swamp kind of deal.
Oh, okay. Cool. It's a very unique story, which is very hard to come by nowadays.
We're having fun with it. We're trying to make it as kind of crazy, and you don't want to make it too wacky. We want to make sure there's definitely that underlying story there. We're going to have some heart to it. It's going to be goofy and fun, and that's really the point. Was we wanted to make it a lot of fun.
What's this?
Those are our 2 bad guys that he's going to have to be
Is that
fighting.
a poison frog?
Yeah.
Nice. So, do they get the powers the same way he does?
No, they get yes, differently. It kind of comes from the same place, but they get it differently than he does.
P Money and Jeff Potts are commenting on the colors. Is it the same guy coloring it, or
he's doing the colors. He's doing all the line art. He's doing the colors. I think since we're supposed to deliver in March, and we're working hard. Hopefully, we make that. We're gonna try. But I think he's going to hire a flatter to kind of speed some of it along.
Yeah, that's what takes all the time, man.
Yeah.
Flatting. Oh, wow.
That's Sashi. Sashi did that for us.
Very nice. Who's this character?
That is his kind of sidekick. That's the girl he was showing off for. Her name is Paige Turner. And she's doing like testing on the water in the swamp. She kind of has a connection to his origin, which we'll find out in the next book. The second book will be the origin book. But she's a biochemist, and she's trying to also help fix the swamp, and because she knows where the chemicals come from, and she's testing to try to counteract it. So that's her role. She's the smart one.
She's the smart one. Yeah, my female lead is Angel Gates. Men of like mind. So, what were your favorite comics? Like what would you say is your greatest influences for this story?
For this story?
Yeah.
probably more movies, more horror movies, because when I was writing it, I'm writing it more for tone, and then I'm writing it to my sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
So my sense of humor, I mean, it comes from a bunch of different sources. I like things like Monty Python and older SNL and different stuff. So my comedy influences come from a lot of different stuff. So I kind of write it to my sense of humor. And then when I'm writing it, I look at it and I say, okay, what can I whenever I'm writing anything, I steal everything. Basically, not word for word and scene for scene. That's not, but always you look at different movies and you see, oh, this is how this scene was set up and why it's important in the movie that it's in or in the book that it's in or whatever. So you say, okay, you want a scene similar to that. The scene where he screws up and the monsters are made, we call that his Uncle Ben moment.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same exact kind of thing, but it's a similar type of thing. There's nothing new under the sun. You just got to make it your own, really.
That's right. And as they say, good artists borrow, great artists steal. That's actually a saying. That's just a terrible saying, though, isn't it?
It sounds horrible. And there's a great site. If anybody, if you're a writer, check it out. It's called tvtropes.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you go there as a writer or somebody who's just interested in pop culture and movies and stuff. You'll get lost because you'll see this stuff, and it'll start with basic stuff. Anti-hero. You'll look up anti-hero, and it tells you what an anti-hero is. And then it gives you the degrees of how much of an anti-hero they are compared to, are they more good? Are they less good? And then they give you a list of movies. This is movies with anti-heroes. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, I saw that theme in that movie. Oh, I saw that in this movie or this TV show or whatever. And you'll get lost in that site forever, especially if that's really, the kind of thing you're interested in. But, I mean, like I said, there's nothing new. It's just you can take stuff, The Magnificent Seven. Take the movie The Magnificent Seven. It's been done 100 times, 1,000 times.
Magnificent Seven, which is my comic book.
Exactly. Everybody does it at some point. It was done in The Mandalorian. It was done in, I'm sure the A-Team has done it 100 times.
Bug's Life, Aunt Z.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, friggin' obviously.
Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah, it's a great trope,
And you can always make it your own. People can look at it and say, "Oh, I see what that is," but at the same time, they can still enjoy it because you're putting your own spin on it.
And there's a comfort in tropes. Like I open up Lone Star. I don't know if you got Lone Star.
I have the first one, yes.
All right, so it opens with the superhero trope, right? It's he's standing on the rooftop waiting for trouble to occur. Although he has a particular way to sense that trouble, like spider sense, but my own things, fear sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the story itself is so divergent from your standardized hero trope or standardized heroic story that I still wanted the readers to understand that this is a superhero you can be comfortable with. Yes, he's going to get geared up in military gear and go kill vampires, but that's not, I still want you to have the idea that this and the comfort level with this character being a superhero. And so that's why I did the whole trope, and I knew it was cliche, and I'm hoping it's the only cliche thing in the book, but I was trying to reach the audience with something that would give them a sense of the familiar and the comfortable, and then move them into, wow, these guys go hunt vampires and kill them with absolute disregard for any human life. So
for those who think tropes are like, oh, they're old and beat up, I'm going to do something brand new. A trope is, for any story, it's the skeleton of every story. That's your bones of almost every story you write is usually based on something. The rest of the story is the meat that you put on. That's the meat, all the blood vessels, all that stuff. That's what you add. Your bones are just something to hang the story onto. That's how I always looked at it. That's why a lot of times, especially your beginning writing, you're like, oh, I don't want to do the next Star Trek. I don't want to do the next this, or I don't want to write the next. I wrote a story a long time ago when I was in high school. And when I finished writing it, I realized it was Ghostbusters. It wasn't shot for it wasn't line for line or whatever, but it was very close theme wise and the way it was set up and the characters. It was Ghostbusters, and I abandoned the story. I don't think I finished it. I abandoned it. I'm like, oh, I'm just rewriting Ghostbusters. But looking back on it now, it was different enough where if I were to rewrite it now, I'd be more than okay with it. I could probably do a better job with it, and even like say, hey, you know what? Just accept that that's what it is, and do your own thing with it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because we do, we all grow up in the same basic culture, and we all absorb the same basic information, right? Cultural. Mm-hmm. And so that's why there's what parallel development is, right? Parallel development. It's when two people have the same idea.
Same idea at the same time. Yeah, I got
it. It happens all the time in Hollywood. That's why you end up having like one movie comes out and then suddenly like two more that are exactly like it come out at the same time, because it's like, yeah, people, we spent $100 million on this movie. We're not going to throw it away because somebody with the same idea is coming out with the same movie at the same time, right?
Like those two volcano movies that came out like the same year.
Yeah, like Leviathan, Deep Star 6, Abyss. I just remember that one back in the 80s, and it just happens. It's like I had this idea for a movie called The Loop, and it was about this time traveling time cop character who goes back in time and has to deal with somebody who, that caused repercussions to his own future and blah 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 and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there watching a commercial for this movie by Ryan Johnson a few years ago, and I'm watching, I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, this is exactly my freaking movie. And then at the end, the name comes up and it's Looper, and I literally screamed.
We this week, and I played it as a joke. Marvel came out with some I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy, and there was this new character or whatever, and it was completely like cringe the way it was written in one panel. He was like, I'm so and so, and I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. And one of his and literally just listing off his powers to whoever he was talking to. And one of the powers of our guy is he has his tongue his saliva is hallucinogenic. So what he does is he slaps you in the face with his tongue. It makes you see monsters, and you get scared and you run out of the swamp. That's one of his powers. And right on that page, on that Marvel book, this character, I can do this, I can do this. My saliva is hallucinogenic. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh, this is the he/him page.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, and I joked around that they stole our IP, but it's so specific. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It very well could be, dude. I don't know. Those guys are the worst. Who wrote that though? Do you know?
I have no idea. I didn't buy the book. I saw it. I saw somebody had posted it on Twitter. That's all.
I saw it on Bianca Fights the Zombies. You watch his channel?
I've seen him in the chat. I don't think I've ever been to his channel.
Oh, his videos are good. They're he needs to get his own setup, but he just he films his iPad with his phone and just talks, but they're still very entertaining videos. He's always talking smack about me. It's hilarious. He keeps calling me fat. Do I look fat, David? Come on. You can be honest.
No, not as bad as I
am. Let's see. What's the chat saying here? I ain't afraid of no goose. Oh, Ghostbusters.
Let me back that up a little bit. What I was talking about, my story was basically Ghostbusters. It wasn't ghosts. Basically the story was these like two rednecks that work for like kind of a secret organization, and it's their job to capture things like fairies and trolls and stuff and keep them out of the sight of regular people.
Oh yeah, that's
basically it was set up. They have little redneck traps that they use to catch these things in, and it wasn't exactly the same. They weren't catching ghosts, but the premise very lightly was very similar. When you kind of stand back from it and looked at it, I was like, oh, it's Ghostbusters. But I just watched that movie Evolution not too long ago with David Duchovny, and that movie, if you look at it, it's Ghostbusters. That's basically what it is. And that one's it's Ivan Reitman. So I mean, he basically wrote. I don't know if he wrote it, but he directed it. So it's basically Ghostbusters again.
Just reskinned. Hey, why not? Man?
That was a good, funny movie, though. I liked it, even though it was kind of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, what was that, like 93, 94?
Yeah, it was. I think I went to the theaters and saw that with my wife, so we must have been dating. So it had to have been after 93.
Yeah. Let's see. Cuban-esque. And portly, husky, big bone. Would you guys stop? Mike isn't fat. He's Rubenesque.
Cuban-esque.
I've got a round face, okay? I get it. I'm Asian. These people will never stop. So what are some of your favorite comics, man?
I grew up when I was a kid. It was all indies. It was all Ninja Turtles, and
when did you grow up?
I was let's see. My first comic that I collected, I was that must have been 86 or 87, and that one was Ninja Turtles number 10. So
still got it.
Where did I grow up, or when? I grew up in Vermont and New Hampshire generally, and then I've moved around a lot since then. But yeah, I just turned 45. So.
Oh, right on. You're right behind me.
Yeah.
48, baby. Cool. Yeah, my first was that sideways issue of Fantastic Four. I was not interested in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know why.
I was totally not interested in any Marvel DC stuff at first. It took me a few years to get into it. Because to me, at the time, as a kid, I thought it all looked the same, and just
you were obviously in comic shops because you couldn't get that indie stuff at the 7-Eleven.
Well, one of my buddies, I was in 6th grade, so one of my buddies drew a really super cartoony version of he was a really good artist even in 6th grade. Drew a really cartoony version of a Ninja Turtle, and I was looking at him. I watched him draw it, and I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, it's a Ninja Turtle. I thought he made it up." I was like, "You make that? That's really cool." And he was like, "I was like, you make that up?" He's like, "No, that's a comic book that's out right now." I was like, "Really?" And so I called him. I lived in a little small town that happened to have a comic book shop, and it was like a little hole in the wall, and there was like an old guy who ran it, and it was like going into that shop in Never Ending Story. There were just comic books spread everywhere. It wasn't like a comic book shop you'd see now where it was all nice. Things are stacked on the walls. It was just boxes of comics sitting around in this little corner office that this guy managed to rent, this old guy. And so that's where I went. I was like, "Hey, you got Ninja Turtles?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he pulled one out. I was like, "Oh, cool." And it was $1.50 at the time, which was super expensive for a comic book. And when I brought it home and showed my dad, he's like, "It's not even in color." But then a few years later, one of my buddies was into he got me into the New Mutants and a little bit of G.I. Joe, and then I was all Marvel for probably throughout high school, with little bits of DC in there at the time. And I think the only DC books I ever remember buying were Lobo books. I might have had a few others, but mostly I was X-Men and Wolverine and all that.
So did you go back and get the rest of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I got back to issue, maybe I started at 10. I think I got back as far as issue 4, and some of those were second printings. And by that time in 87, the first print was worth $150.
Wow. I
remember that back at the time because I remember thinking, "Oh, I want to see the first one," and I remember asking around about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is like $150." I'd pay $150 now for it.
Yeah, it's like $6,000.
Yeah, it's worth a lot of money now. I think that first print one was like 1,000 books.
My friend of mine, Matt, a friend of his, which is also a friend of mine, but I can't remember who it was just going on and on about this new comic book coming out, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he told him all about it because he saw it, I don't know how it was, like previews or whatever it was back then. And so Matt, when he got to the comic book store first, and he's like, "Hey, did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles come in?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I'll take all of them." Just to be a jerk. But just recently, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, he was moving, and the truck he was in, the back of the truck, like the tailgate opened up, and I think he lost like 2 boxes of comics.
Oh,
And that was in one of them. And this is a guy, dude, this guy has a complete run of Wolverine from his first appearance through probably the year 2000.
jeez, not anymore.
Well, I don't know how many of those he lost, but he said he lost the freaking. And that's the thing, dude. He said 6 copies of it, and he never even opened any of them. He just bought them to be a jerk and stuck in a long box. And like I said, mint condition, those things are $6,000 each. Oh well.
I kick myself because I'll see people post. I would see people posting on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, check out these issues," and "Oh, remember these issues?" And I'm like, "Yep, I had that. Yep, had that one. Had that one. Sold them all."
Oh yeah, that's right. You sold them for a dog.
No, not for $1. Oh, for a dog. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's my dog. That sometimes you'll hear, and whenever I'm doing videos, you hear him snoring in the background. So
so this wasn't that long ago?
No, I was. My dog's only 5 now, so it was about 5 years ago.
Right on. Let's see what the chat says. People are still talking about being fat. It's not me though. Jeff Potts is obsessing over his own chin flap. If you guys have any questions for David or for myself regarding anything other than being fat, that would be fantastic. I'm
an expert at being fat, so yeah, ask away.
Fuzzy Creature says that is the happiest teenage frog in the world. But he's actually human sized, right?
Yes, and we did this when she asked what we wanted. I was like, you know what? Come up with something cool, something funny. It's a funny book, and we both had this kind of same idea, the little frog in the cleavage, and it was. And then I was going to write a scene in the book, just a really quick scene. After this came out, I'm like, oh, that looks so funny. I was going to write a real quick scene where he accidentally turns into the little frog because he's messing around. He's like in her lab, and she's got all her stuff laying around, and she's kind of doing some exposition. Well, and he's kind of playing with the chemicals and accidentally gets some on himself and turns into the frog for a second. But we'll see. That we had to trim a little fat off because we were getting a little long in the. I didn't write 60 pages, but it was getting to be a 60-page story, and I realized we only had like 20 pages left. So.
Yeah, I thought it was 48 pages.
Well, that's the thing. It's a 48-page book. We're at like 26 pages, so we're just really starting the second act, where all the monsters are starting to attack, and so we also have to do the third act. So we've got 22 pages. We'll probably go to 50 pages. I don't want to go too much because we want the book to be out on time or as close to on time as possible. So I don't want to overdo it and wwrite too many pages.
If I were you, I would stick to the 48, man.
Well, yeah. Like I said, we're not going to 60 pages. Like I said, we'll be okay doing an extra couple pages if we have to. But it's not. I mean, we're trying to stick to the 48 as much as possible. I'm kind of a fan of deadlines.
Yeah. I've been late, and I hate it. Is there a For the Troops tier or a tier for local comic shops?
We haven't done that. Maybe for the next book. We tried to keep it as simple as possible. Although 3 covers is really now that we're looking at the printing stuff, 3 covers is more than we we probably should have done.
How are you getting printed?
For a first print run? Because it might work out because what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna overprint anyway, just to be sure. But I mean, right now we're at like 285 books total sold, and we've got 3 different covers, and so that 285 or 290, whatever, 300 books, print wise, it's that's a lot fewer books than when the discounts start. So
right.
what we'll probably do is we'll overprint by a lot. And I think we're going to sell some of the overprints on Kickstarter. We'll save some for the next book so that we have a few there.
That's smart.
Yeah, and then we're going to try to do the Cincinnati Con this year because I think that's the one that's closest to both of us. So we're going to try to do the Cincinnati Con together and have some books to bring there too.
Yeah, that is definitely smart. Make sure you have books for issue 2 because having come from publishing, you can't sell issue 2 if you don't have issue 1.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not making money off of it, if you're planning on doing this long term, then you want to make sure that you're stocked up for the next time around.
Yeah, I think we probably will only do one cover next time. I mean, we'll try to still do like a celebrity, like we've got an Ethan cover, and it's a jam cover. So that came out really, really cool.
You have it? You have it already?
No, we don't have it already. Not yet.
Oh.
As soon as he said as soon as he's done doing his head sketches today, he said he had less than 100. So he'd get our book, and it's not a huge thing. He doesn't have to do the whole cover. Like I said, it's a jam cover. So basically, Sweens did 2 different versions with Oddity on them, and sent them to him and said, "Okay, you can pick one and just draw Cyberfrog on it, however you want." And then and all he has to do is do the line art, send it back, and Sweens will do the backgrounds, do the colors, do the whole thing, and finish it up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's gonna be cool. And that was cool. Somebody else was like, "Hey," on Twitter before we launched, "Hey, Ethan, what do you think about letting him draw Cyberfrog on his cover?" And we were going to ask him permission. "Hey, is it okay if we do this with your permission?" And he was like, "How about I draw my character, you draw your character?" We're like, "Cool." And we made sure. Are you sure? We want to make sure that you're cool with this, and whatever. And he's like, "Oh yeah. It's cool. It's cool."
That's awesome, because you should get a heck of a bump once you have that in hand.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Or once you have it colored and you're promoting it, because he does have the fans. So Claudio Acosta says, "Where can I find reliable info about what is trending in comics and the sales? I think that can help you look for new talents like all of you." What is trending? I don't know. If you want to know what the sales are in comics, in comic book shops, go to ICV2, Charlie Victor 2 .com, and look up top 500, like in their little search thing, and that'll give you the listings of the top 500 comics for the last, I don't know how many years, for everything that's on there.
Is that the diamond numbers, the publisher numbers?
Yeah. You never seen that? You want to see it?
Yeah, I've seen the Comic-Con numbers. I haven't seen I haven't seen that one. I think I've heard of that. No, I think about it.
Yeah, it's fun to just kind of search through. So here, let me share my screen. Stop screen, share screen, Chrome tab. You know what I could do? I could just here. Let me do this screen, and I'll just drop this in there. There we go. So you go to ICV2, and then you go into the search bar, and you say top 500. It used to only be top 300, but now it's top 500. And then scroll down, top 500 comics 2019, top 500 graphic novels 2019. And then these are the ones that go month by month. So top 500 for December, graphic novels December. Although I haven't looked at this one yet. This might make a good, interesting video. All right, let's see the top 500 comics for 2019. So we have, scroll in, Detective Comics 1000 sold 574,705. I sold about, what did I sell? About 4,000 or 5,000 copies of Lone Star #1. I felt really good about that until that's like a rounding error on the #1 comic. Spawn #300 sold 275,000. Wow, that's a hell of a drop, though. That's a 200,000 copy drop from the #1 to the #2 spot.
Yeah, they really push. I mean, I think DC probably has the push more than Image, even with a name like Spawn.
Yeah.
As far as advertising and getting the word out, I think it's just a bigger market.
Junkyard Done just back, bro.
I saw.
Right on.
I just looked at it a second ago.
Junkyard Dunn is a big supporter. Good guy. Good guy.
Thank you, JYD.
X-Men #1. There was an X-Men #1 and I missed it. I've got all the X-Men #1s. I'm just kidding. There's so many. 269,000. Black Cat. Wow. That's actually surprising. Black Cat #1 was the 4th best selling book of the entire year. How'd they manage that? I wasn't paying attention. Did they put like some hot artist on there on the cover or something?
Hot artist drawing hot pictures?
Yeah. I mean, it's Black Cat. It's not Spider-Man. It's not Batman. It's Spider-Man's also ran girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But he's gay though.
Wait, what?
They keep trying to push that.
That Spider-Man's gay?
They keep wishing for it on Twitter. No, he's gay. He's gay. Except he's got all these girlfriends and he's been married.
Yeah. 3 hottest girlfriends or wives, whatever, in Marvel. And yeah, sure, he's gay. Why not? They're just beards.
There you go. JYD says J. Scott Campbell covers. Well, yeah, that's going to suck.
Oh, there you go. How many? How many did they do? Detective Comics 1000 was pimped for over a year. All right. What's up, Migsy? Migs, another big supporter. Migs, have you backed Oddity yet? Just out of curiosity. Black Cat, really? OMG, Pseudo Girl. Who's the guest today? This is David Sean. I'll put back up Oddity here. Let me. Where did I put it? Where did I put Oddity? Hello. He is the writer of Oddity, now on Indiegogo. This is is this a pinup or a poster or what?
That's a pinup you get with the book.
Right on. Pinup by Sashi, but Oddity is this super crazy frog dude.
That pinup there, that's his name is Matt Houston, the artist. He was one of the artists for Adventure Time.
Oh, really?
And I guess he went to art school with Sweens.
Oh, wow. Very
so
cool.
He said, hey, can you do like your little spin on the character? He's like, yeah, sure.
Nice.
This picture is Team Monster. That's us, Shinobi Sasquatch, and Monster MD. And that was done by Donald DeLay. That's another pinup you'll be getting with the book.
There you go. Did Donald color it?
No, Sweens colored it.
Okay, cool. And then you can get...
You can get a broken figurine.
These are the bad guys.
Yeah.
The unbroken version of the figurine.
Yeah. This is a prototype. The other one's going to actually look a little bit different. They've been tweaking it, putting like little mushrooms and stuff on the little base. But again, if you buy one of those, there's only going to be a few. You buy one of those, and it either come in pieces with instructions. We'll give you online instructions on how to put it together. I think all the pieces it's only like fit one way kind of thing. And this is like a gray tone, but I think a lot of it's going to be printed in the right colors. And then you'll be able to do some detail paint work. He'll give you a basic guide of what color paints to use.
Oh, very cool.
Or you can just say, hey, I want the whole thing already put together. And he'll do the detail paint work. He'll put it together for you and ship it all put together.
Nice. But yeah, part of the fun in doing these things, if you're one of those real crazy nut guys is painting them, because man, you ever go to like the hobby shops and stuff and you see the just crazy detailed paintings people do on these things? This would be a lot of fun. And this is your artist name again?
His name is Sean Sweeney. He goes by Sweens.
I hear your dog snoring.
Yeah. He's on the other side of the bed. I don't got nothing to throw at him.
So, Migs, you can grab an original art page for only $300, or the figurine for $150. And he's 26 pages in. So, when do you think the whole thing's going to be done?
It takes him. He's timed himself. It takes him about 30 hours to do a page. A lot of times he works hard. So that's from pencils to colors, the whole thing. That's how he works. And hopefully once he's like I said, he's going to get a flatter. So hopefully that'll speed up the process some. But that's 26 pages. Yeah, that's Eric Weathers right now doing the lettering. But we're hoping, the goal was to get it to the printer by the end of February. So hopefully, I think we can make that.
All right, tell me what the Odd Army tier is.
The Odd Army tier is all 3 covers. You're going to get the cover that's got the character on it, the regular Sweens cover. You're going to get the Ethan Van Sciver jam cover. It's going to have Oddity and Cyberfrog on it. Cyberfrog will be drawn by Ethan. And then you'll get what we call the Weekend Getaway tier. And he drew this picture as a frame. It's just the trailer and the tree. And it's a frame in the book. And I was like, man, you got to make a pinup or something out of that. And then we kind of put it to a vote for the backers. And a lot of people said, yeah, make that a cover. So we made that a 3rd cover.
Cool. And how's your video? Is it good?
It's all right. I think we might, when we get the pages back, we're gonna do something else.
Should I play it or not?
I mean, it's cool. It's got some cool music to it, and it's got basically a lot of the art that you saw.
Wait, is it copyrighted music?
No. We got permission to use the music. It's just a band he knows, a local band or something.
Okay. Oh wait, I don't think you're gonna be able to hear it. We can see it anyways. I didn't pre-share. So
I can hear it
on the speakers. Yeah, you can, but I don't know if they can.
Oh.
Mig says he's gonna check this out right on.
You absolutely should. It's like we did that as an homage to the Lost Boys.
Oh yeah.
He eats bugs, so he's eating the bugs out of the Chinese food thing.
We can hear it. Oh, good. So can he change back?
Nope.
He's stuck.
Yeah, he's stuck. He's stuck as the frog guy.
I like that piece. All right. Cool. All right, let's refresh this. I know you got 1 backer, so I know you got 1 backer, so let's check it out. 14,535, 275 backers, 276, 14,610, right on.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, we jumped up pretty good.
How did they park on the tree? I'm going to guess there was a flood and a swamp and a flood.
That will be in book 2.
That's happened before.
Hmm?
That's happened before, like from flooding and stuff, cars getting stuck in trees.
I'm going to have to write a whole crazy scene for that. Because just being stuck there in a flood isn't any fun.
All right, fine. Don't be realistic. Whatever.
Right. It's not supposed to be realistic. He lives in that trailer. One of the big questions we get is, or at least we've gotten it a couple times, is, well, what happens if he moves around in the trailer? And isn't it going to shift focus? Or isn't it going to shift weight and all this other stuff? And I'm like, Swings is like, dude, it's about a mutant frog guy. What?
I know, right? How much reality do you want out of this? How much realism do you want? So here we have Magnificent 7, which is the project I'm working on now. This is, everybody should know already who's been paying any attention. This is how they drain all the estrogen and soy from Meltdown, is by bringing out the bombshell brigade to bring up the testosterone levels. And so here we have AOC freaking out about the girls, and then here you have lecherous Bill Clinton and Joe Biden popping their heads out, saying,
You're gonna have them sniffing anybody's hair?
I know, I wanted to do that, but I couldn't really figure out a way to make that work in the panel.
That's how we could. That's how we could sneakily steal soy and estrogen from women. He sneaks behind them and sniffs it out of their hair.
Yeah. So the Bombshell Brigade are just singing, dancing, doing the sexy thing, and then all the creeps start discorporating from Meltdown. So you got Al Franken here ready to grab some boobs because that's Al Franken. Bill Maher, Cretin, Alec Guinness, another creeper. So not Alec Guinness, Alec Baldwin. Alec Guinness is
Alec Guinness.
all hail Alec Guinness. I did not sniff that woman's hair. LOL. And then here you have in this final panel, I know it's gray because this is the underlayer that I'm drawing over, is Nancy Pelosi screaming, "I'm melting." So this will be my magnum opus, obviously the most important comic book of my career. Of Biden creepily touching Clinton. I could just kind of have him leaning over, sniffing Clinton's hair. That'd be disgusting. Bill Maher is a G. What does that mean? What does G mean?
Bill Maher confuses me because a lot of the times I'm like, man, I can't stand him, and then he's really good on First Amendment type stuff.
Yeah,
like, even if he hates you, he'll be like, yeah, I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, no, I used to really like Bill Maher back when he did Politically Incorrect. You remember that show back in the?
I remember that he did that show. I don't think I ever watched it.
Yeah, so it was him as it was on ABC. It was him. He was the host, and then he'd always have two conservatives and two liberals, and so it was always just this great conversation between people who disagreed. Sometimes there was some vitriol, but most of the time it was people being people instead of people being Twitter snipers or whatever. But yeah, no, that was great. I love that kind of TV. So that's what that's what I've been quietly working on in the background while we've been talking about Oddity and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. First Last says drain the swamp. Yes, drain the swamp. I know, but we can't. The damn swamp won't drain. I don't know what to do about it. Alec Baldwin looks a little like Butthead. Let me see. Well,
he does. Oh, in your picture too, yeah.
So, yeah. It's true. Captain Held's putting up the link to Oddity. Yes, please do go back Oddity if you would. So what do you do? What do you do when you're not writing comics, man?
I sleep. I have a regular government job. That's as far as I'm going to go with that.
CIA, huh?
Nothing super cool, but just
NSA. We'll just say it's NSA. Leave it at that.
There are letters in it. There are definitely letters in
it. TSA. There's an S.
Yeah, you got me.
Those guys, man. What would we do without the TSA?
I thought the whole Homeland Security thing was a joke. So I was in the Navy. I was in the Navy when 9/11 went down.
Yeah.
And once they started saying they were going to do a Homeland Security agency, I was like, oh, we really don't. Why don't you just tell everybody to talk to each other? Why you got to make a whole new agents, a whole new, whatever? Because
they wouldn't talk to each other, right?
They can just slap them around a little bit.
I know, right?
I thought it was a whole waste of money. Everybody's doing the same thing they were doing. Can't you just tell everybody? Just put new policy in place. Hey, now you got to talk to each other.
All right. I know they were supposed to be working on the same team.
I mean, it was. I don't want to get too much into 9/11 conspiracies or whatever, but basically, in my opinion, it was a conspiracy of screw ups. It was a lot of people putting the cart before the horse. Oh, they planned it. No, they didn't plan it. What happened was they dropped the ball, and then everybody wanted to point fingers at everyone else. Since they were covering their own butts, it looks like they planned it.
I hear that. Yeah, I got in a argument with a guy, a TSA agent one time, and this is what you don't want to do is argue with TSA because they'll put you on a no-fly list. But I was like, he was pulling over. We're going to Hawaii. I have a family. I have 8 people going with me. We've got 8 suitcases full of artwork, right? And so every case, he's like pulling it up, opening it up, looking at this. I'm like, they're all artwork. I'm like, look, it's me, my 80-year-old mother, my freaking children. I'm not a terrorist. I'm like, can't you just pick 2 random bags and search through them so you can save yourself a half an hour? And he's like, no, we have to look through every single bag. And I'm like, you guys have never caught a terrorist.
When I was in the military,
to catch terrorists.
When I was in the military, right after all that happened, I was flying on orders to go somewhere. And when you're in the military and you fly on orders, and the military pays for your ticket, with the new rules they had in place, even though the government paid for your ticket, since I didn't pay for it, it looks suspicious.
Oh, bro!
Even though the government paid for it, because it comes out as somebody paid for my ticket. So I got pulled over every single time flying on orders as being in the military. So one day I get pulled aside, and they search all my stuff, and I'm fine. I'm good to go. So I get up to the gate, and I'm trying to be nice. This lady's like, "Hey, we're overbooked. Will anybody take let somebody else on or whatever? Give up their seat." And I went up there. I'm like, "How long is it going to be?" They're like, "Oh, 20 minutes. The next flight's coming in." I'm like, "All right, I'll do it." So I'm waiting. They're like, "Hey, thanks. We appreciate it." I sat down. And then they came across. Everybody got on the plane. They're like, "Oh, we don't need you to stand by anymore. You can get on this plane." I'm like, "Okay, but we got to search you at the gate." I came up as a random search because I volunteered. So they searched me, and then over the radio, the pilot's going, "What's taking so long?" And the guy over the radio is like, "We got this guy here that we got to search." So when I get on the plane, the pilot's giving me dirty looks. I'm trying to be the nice guy, and I look like the a-hole.
That's funny. I got stopped one time because someone named Mike Miller was on the no-fly list. I'm like, do you have any idea how many of us there are? It's like you can't just flag every single Mike Miller in the country.
If you wanted to be a super smart terrorist, you would change your name to John Smith,
right?
And get your name on the no-fly list,
right? Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, they're pointless. All they're doing is costing us billions in dollars of air travel time. Honestly, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Which, as everyone knows, is not humble. Wear a fire department shirt next time at the airport. Pro tip. Huh. You can't say terrorist in an airport, Mike. Well, he didn't call me on it. So I stopped arguing with him because I'm like, oh crap, we're going to Hawaii, and he could actually just make us not go to Hawaii, make us miss our flight. So I just stopped, and I was like, all right, fine, whatever. Take your time. Wasting your time and mine, but whatever.
When we had a really cool pilot one time. I used to fly all the time when I was in the military. Me and my buddy ended up getting on this small flight, and we were kind of near. It was one of those little puddle jumpers that just goes from to back and forth to little airports nearby each other.
Yeah.
And so we were on the plane, and we're like near the front sort of, and different aisles or different rows or whatever, and the pilot comes out. They were waiting to fuel up or whatever. The pilot comes out, and he starts just looking at the people, and he points at me. He goes, "You." Points at my buddy. He goes, "You." He points at someone else. He goes, "You're deputized." He goes, "Anybody comes near the front of this plane, it's your job to stop them." That dude was hilarious.
You're like, "Can I have a gun?" I wish that people would stop doing stupid things. Is that too much to ask? Dragon, that is way too much to ask. Come
I
on.
can't even imagine.
I know.
The world would stop spinning if people stopped doing stupid stuff.
Seriously. The world is runs on stupid stuff. Where is that? You can't see terrorist. Mike getting in arguments with people. Nah. What are you saying? I'm sure I don't know what you mean. How dare you? Like and share, everybody. Like and share. We are making comics great again. Has everybody checked out, or at least gone to the Oddity page and like read through the stuff? I hope so.
It's worth it just for that Sashi pinup. And like I said, if you like
Indeed,
Monster MD and Shinobi Sasquatch, those are cool guys. We're good friends with those guys. You're gonna get all three of those. You're gonna get all three of those on a pinup. We'll probably put up a few extras and send copies to each of those guys too.
We got to get Rob Willis in here.
Rob's a good dude. He's hard to get a hold of though.
Yeah, I've had him on my stream one time.
Yeah, I think I had him on early on when they launched.
Yeah, good dude. Great artist, man. He's gonna be legend one of these days. Who's your favorite artist?
Sam Keith.
Oh yeah,
I'm a big Sam. Well, not a big Sam. I don't follow him around or anything, but I like The Max was one of my favorite comics in the '90s, and I just last year I was at my local comic shop, and they give out they call funny money. They're basically coupons.
Mm-hmm.
You spend like $20, and they give you $1 in store money. And I had a whole bunch saved up, and every month they do something different. Usually it's back issues. You can use the money on back issues. And I bought a whole run of Marvel Comics Presents, and they were all Sam Keith.
Yes, that's where I was first introduced. The Wolverine story.
Yeah, a lot of Wolverine, a lot of I can't remember if there was Moon Knight. There was a bunch of different stuff in there. But yeah, a lot of Wolverines.
Yeah, back in the day, man, they gave people their starts in Marvel Comics Presents. I don't know. Do they even do it anymore? They probably don't, huh?
No, I haven't seen a Marvel Comics Presents in forever. They should go back to that.
Right? That'd be a good thing. NASA should do that. You could do like NASA Comics Presents.
I considered for one of my next projects doing anthology type something, but I don't think they sell all that well for some reason.
They don't. Wait, did somebody? How did Tales from the Stacks do?
That one, I don't know. That one that looked good. There was a lot of different guys in that, but I don't know how that one sold.
Yeah. So, what are you following in the whole indie comicsgate movement?
I've got a few. I haven't bought anything in a few months. I think the last thing I got was Graveyard Shift. There's a lot of good ones that came out though that I really liked. I liked Bric-a-Brac. That Christmas one looked really good. There was a Halloween one, there was a high school one with the zombie. I can't remember what it's called. That one looked really good. There's a few more I want to get, and I just haven't been able to pick it up. Money's been a little. I just picked up over the course of I think November and December. I still had my pull list, and I wasn't picking anything up. I'd go in every once in a while, buy a few things just to cut the list down. And finally, last week I had a few extra dollars. So I'm like, all right, I'll go in and clear out my pull box. And then then I went through. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop getting so much. Most of what I got was short series anyway. There wasn't any ongoing. It was like Punisher Kill Crew, which was a lot of fun, and again a lot of 6-issue or 12-issue whatevers. A lot of the ones that are really good that I really like. The art's really cool. Is anything by Archaea? I'm trying to think of the Dark Crystal stuff.
Oh, who's doing Dark Crystal?
The company's Archaea. I don't know who the artists are, but those are really good. Right now they're doing they did like a like a prequel to I think what right now what they're doing is the prequel to the Netflix series. But the art on they're doing really good on the art and story on that one.
Archaea, from what I remember, I haven't picked up. Dude, I don't even buy comics anymore. But I remember Archaea was doing they always had really top quality stuff. They just didn't do a lot though, right?
Yeah, I don't know anything about the inner workings, but they seem to be pretty picky because I've seen some of their other stuff and it's very, very like high. I mean, the art's high quality. It's like high fantasy type stuff.
Yeah. Are they the ones that did Mouse Guard?
I honestly don't know. I started getting into them. We got the hardcovers for a different Dark Crystal series that came out just before the Netflix series came out. That was really good.
Cool. So they've had the license for a while then.
Yeah, they must have at least a couple of years.
Nice.
All right, hold on just a second here.
Mm-hmm. The dog. Piranha Pelosi. No, just Nancy screaming, I'm melting. When I was a kid, I loved the Dark Crystal, but I didn't feel the magic with the Netflix series. Yeah, I tried to watch the first episode and I just couldn't get into it. I think it is the puppetry. I don't know. I couldn't take it seriously.
I liked it. I thought there was a little hinky stuff going on where I think they retroed some of the kind of background. But overall, I thought it was pretty good.
I think Team America spoiled me for puppet movies. Oh, Captain Hilt, it's too bad it's before your time. Yeah, Dark Crystal when we were kids was like, I don't know, like this epic, groundbreaking stuff. And maybe that's just the feeling I didn't get from the new one or something.
I remember when it came out the same time as like Star Trek 2. And my dad used to take us to the movies all the time. And he took us to see that one. And my mom was like, oh, they're going to get scared. They're going to have nightmares and blah, blah, blah. But then he took us to see Star Trek 2 that same year. And the thing that scared me were those things that go into their ears. And that still freaking creeps me out.
Yeah. Best Star Trek movie ever. Still freaking you out all these years later. Pelosi's dentures should fall out. You guys are so mean to our whatever you call her. I know she's horrible. She's just terrible human being. No offense to anybody who likes Pelosi, but she is. Jiminy Cricket, New Dark Crystal is completely focused on social dimensions. It is tainted by wokeness. Why so much wokeness? Why all the wokeness? Jim Henson. Yeah, that was Jim Henson. Of course, I don't know. I don't know how much you know about it. Is Jim Henson Studios doing the new Dark Crystal?
Or? Oh yeah, they're doing. Not only are they doing it, Brian Froud, who is the son of, I can't remember his dad did the puppetry on the original one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Very nice.
So he's when he was actually the baby in Labyrinth.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I think I got that right. I know the baby in Labyrinth was the puppeteers guy. I'm almost positive he's the one that's in charge of all the puppet stuff now. He's taken over for his dad.
Do you know who the baby in Godfather 3 was?
You're gonna hate me. I've never seen any of the Godfather movies.
Oh. Godfather 2, the baby was Sofia Coppola.
Oh wow.
And then she played the same role in Godfather 3 because she was a grown up. I think that's one of the craziest castings.
Yes, they kept it real.
Yeah, right. She was being baptized at the in the final scenes of Godfather 2. She's third in line to the throne. Show some respect. Jiminy Cricket, quit your crying. She's a more.
Well, it's late here. I gotta bring my kids to school in the morning.
All right, man. Well, let's
3 a.m. here.
I'll be up then, and I will just. Well, I got to work anyways. I'll just let you go.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. We will.
Everybody in the chat, thanks for showing up. I'm surprised you don't have just a bunch of Bigfooters here. It's 3 a.m.
Bigfooters.
I thought that's all. I thought Bigfooters and UFOers were the only ones that watch
Oh,
live streaming late at night.
nah. All right, let me pop this up on the screen one more time before you bail out. And why is my mouse not working? What the heck? Here we go. Oddity 14,610, 276 backers, and it looks like that's where we'll end the night.
Hey, that's better than we started the night, and that's cool by me.
Yeah, everybody check out Oddity if you haven't yet, and consider backing it. David, Sean, really glad to have you here, man.
All right. No, I appreciate it. Anytime you want.
You got it, brother.
All right. Have a good night.
Peace out. Dragon says, they should have been asleep a few hours ago. Well, I have work to do, so I'm going to be up until I'm done with this page, I think. Although, honestly, I'd rather go crawl into bed. But I don't know, man. It was one of those days I just did not get enough work done. So now here I am working into the wee hours of the morning, as I am wanting to do here and there. Nancy Pelosi, she makes me drowsy. Your mic got messed up a little. Did it really? You're roboting? Here, let me unplug. Annoying. It's working now. Thank you very much. Testosterone is melting Pelosi. That's correct. That is correct. You understand. I'm melting. I'm melting. Oh, what a world. What a world. I'll probably have her do that. Probably have her say that. What a world. What a world. Man, this comic is so much fun. And I'm just blowing through it. This is page 21, guys. 21, 22, 23, 24, and I'm done. Wait. No, this is page 22. 23, 24, and I'm done. Well, 22, 23, 24, and I'm working on covers. But, man, I'm screaming through this project. And honestly, I am kind of liking how these pages are coming up. What about y'all? What about you, Quinn?
Pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
How are you doing?
I like the version of the Wicked Witch from The Wiz. Remember
The
that
Wiz?
movie? Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw it.
Oh my god, it's so great. Diana Ross is so terrible in it. Oh my god, because it's based off of that play music or whatever, and it's just. I guess the movie is like nostalgic for a lot of people, and it's nostalgic for me. But you go back and watch it, it's like, God, Diana Ross is bad. Like, I remember because like instead of Kansas, like she gets pulled in from New York on the tornado. So there's one part where she's in Oz and she's all like, "Where's Times Square? Where's New York?" And it's just the most ridiculous overacting. I'm like, God dang it. They just hired Diana Ross because she was big. It was not for her acting talent. Mm-hmm. But Michael Jackson's in it. He's got some good songs in there. I like some of those Michael Jackson songs.
Right.
There's one. Ease on down the road.
That's from The Wiz?
Yeah. Don't you carry nothing that might be alone. It's one of my favorites. But
I didn't know that was from The Wiz. That's cool.
A lot of good songs in The Wiz. The music of The Wiz is what makes it bearable. But the movie itself,
Yeah. But you do have to admit that Nancy Pelosi does make a much better Wicked Witch.
Indeed. Indeed. A Wicked Witch. I'm melting. Is that what's happening now? She's melting?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, what a world. Who would have thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness?
Your favorite witch ever, right?
The Wicked Witch, yeah. Definitely very far up there. Because I always sympathize with the Wicked Witch, and I'll tell you why. Because if you just watch the Wizard of Oz movie, it's like she just comes in and investigate the death of her sister. Yeah. And then when she goes over to receive her inheritance, the ruby slippers, Glinda steals them, puts them on Dorothy's feet, puts Dorothy in danger, sends Dorothy on this ridiculous quest without even telling her how the magic of the slippers work, just to get rid of the Wicked Witch. It was like a whole big scheme. So I don't know. I don't really trust Glinda. And I tend to feel like the Wicked Witch was justified and like being kind of pissed off. I mean, you killed my sister, one. And Glinda summoned that tornado. What? Are you kidding me? Magic tornado that just picks the girl up from Kansas and drops her off in Oz. That was definitely Glinda. She's got that wind magic. She's like floating around in a bubble or something.
I'm pretty sure that was Q.
Perhaps. It was Q.
That was a good stream tonight.
Yeah, that was fun. Fun having a chat with all the people about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're here to talk politics.
Oh no, maybe.
I know. I feel like as long as I'm working on this project, conversations are always going to devolve into politics. But
I mean, yeah, it's like you're drawing like a bunch of political figures.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, you didn't see the other part though. Hold on.
No, show it to me.
Let me. So here you have. So here's the bombshell brigade, which you saw that page, right? All right. So they are bringing up the testosterone levels in Meltdown, and so AOC goes, nah! I don't know what I have her saying. I forget. But then you have a really creepy Bill Clinton poking his head out, and then Joe Biden up here.
Is he sniffing Bill Clinton's hair?
That's what
I said. Is he sniffing Bill Clinton's hair?
You know what? I have to make him do that because you're the second person tonight to ask.
Because he's like right over him, and he's always like sniffing people.
I know, but I should have like his hands on Bill Clinton's shoulders.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I might do that. And then Glenda is Q confirmed, says Jiminy Cricket.
Yep. Yeah, I don't trust Glenda. I don't.
All right, and then down here, since all the men, first we start with the lecherous men, like I forgot his name.
Waitjar? Is that Stephen Colbert?
Who's that? No. It's he used to be a senator. He got busted for that picture of him pretending
Anthony
to grab
Weiner. Oh no.
Oh, I should have put Weiner in there.
Oh.
What was I thinking? I wanted to do some celebrities, but somebody in the chat will say who it is. I can't remember. I'm drawing a total blank. I know who it is.
Have you ever seen that meme? I don't know if you know this actress, Amanda Pratt, and she's like looking at a picture and she goes, I don't know who this man is. If I saw this man on the street, he could walk right past me and I wouldn't know who it was. I'm sorry to this man. That's what I feel when I see this picture because I have no idea who you're trying
Al Franken.
Al Franken. Okay.
I
see Bill Maher in the background though.
Yeah, and then Alec Baldwin. and then just a bunch of randos. But yeah, they start coming out. So I kind of put a little silhouette of a boob right here because that's what it was famously kicked out of the Senate for. Remember the picture of him pretending to grab the girl's boobs?
Look at Pelosi. She's like, my power.
I'm melting. I'm melting. What a world. What a world. I'm having too much fun on this project, man. Too much fun.
You know the Wicked Witch, when she disappeared the first time in the flames, she got like severely burned.
Oh no.
The actress was severely burned. She got like 3rd-degree burns because if you pay attention to it, like you can see it if you watch the movie. Like the pillar of red smoke comes up, and then like this fire thing happens. And apparently, when they took her down in like the underground thing they had, they didn't move her out of the way in time for like the flame thing to come out, and she got burned bad from that.
Dang.
Yeah. Wizard of Oz history.
All right.
Also, the original guy that played the Tin Man almost died because of the aluminum powder in the paint they were using.
Yeah, that was Buddy Hackett.
It's crazy.
Buddy Hackett, ladies and gentlemen.
What they did for film back in the day.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz, first Technicolor film in theater. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
And it was funny because like when they would air it on TV after that, it would still be like in black and white, even when she got to Oz. And so it was like years and years later before like people could see it in like actual color. Yeah. So it's funny because I can't imagine it without like getting to Oz and then it goes to color. That's like one of the most iconic moments for me because I've always seen it like that.
Right.
Everyone's like Wiener. Anthony Weiner.
Oh yeah, I know. But shoot. Yeah, maybe I will.
He's got such a like wiener dog looking face too, right? He looks like a wiener dog.
I don't know what's wrong with that. Dude. Buddy Ebsen. Didn't I say Buddy Ebsen?
Buddy Ebsen.
Who did I say?
I don't know.
I thought I said Buddy Ebsen.
For who? For which character? For which person?
The original Tin Man.
Oh, I don't know who you said. I don't remember.
Yeah, he's Uncle Jed from the Beverly Hillbillies.
The Tin Man. Yeah, I love the Wizard
Buddy
of Oz.
Hackett. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, you did say Hackett.
Buddy this, buddy that. He was my buddy. My buddy.
You know which buddy.
My buddy.
But you know, have you ever heard the rumor of like that there was like a hanging Munchkin in the Wizard of Oz in one scene? Have you heard that rumor?
Oh.
Okay, if you go back, see, it's weird, right? Because if you look at the original like footage, like I have it on VHS and I want to go back and find it because I've seen like the older footage and then I've seen like the remastered HD footage. Whatever is right there in the remastered footage is not the same thing that was there before. So they went back and did something and it looks like they went in and replaced something. Unless like I'm seeing some doctored images or something. Because I've gone on YouTube and I've looked and it looks like totally different. Like the HD footage versus like the older footage. So I don't know. What? I don't think it was a hanging dwarf. I don't think that's true. But I don't know if it was something and just because of the rumor they chose to like put in this bird instead to like, I don't know, to kill the rumor. I don't know. Like, go back and look at that, people, and
like
tell me what you think.
Dead hanging dwarf? Is that what
that's the rumor. But if you go, it doesn't. If you go back and look at even the old footage, it actually doesn't look like that to me. It just looks like something there. I don't know. But that was the rumor. That's the urban legend. There's a hanging dwarf. It's in the scene where they're off to see the wizard when it's all four of them. Right before, I think it's, you remember in the house where the Wicked Witch shows up at the top of the house and she like throws down the fireball and she's all like, somewhere around that scene. I don't know. Around the yellow brick road. Someone said, I think it's a crane. It's a crane, I think.
It's a plane. It's Superman.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yeah. Get any comments on your video yet?
Get any comments on the video?
Yeah.
On the stream?
Yeah.
Oh, probably. I put it in that unlisted playlist.
Yeah, I gotta find that so I can put it in the Nerds of the Round Table playlist too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Nerds needs to be a little more concise. If we're gonna do this, we should do it with a different title.
Okay.
Like I don't know. Do you like Bullpen?
That'd be interesting. Sure.
Or The Small Council?
Small Council sounds good.
I used to do that. I used to do a Small Council because there would be the Star Wars guys on Tuesday nights do a show called The High Council. And then so I would do a show around the same time with just me and some of my friends and call it The Small Council. So that was fun.
Indeed.
The director of Wizard of Oz should slap Judy Garland in the face when she screwed up her lines and give her pills so that she could work 14-hour days. Would do this? That's not nice.
Oh yeah, apparently like she did get really treated badly during like the whole thing. Didn't Julie Garland die pretty young too?
I think so. I mean, old enough to have Liza Minnelli, right?
Yeah. Judy Garland. Somewhere over the rainbow.
I like Iz's version. We played that at my dad's funeral.
Oh, that is a really pretty version. If only I could say his full name.
Israel, something or other.
Yeah, he's got a really long last name. It's like Kamaka Wala Lab. It starts with a K.
You are insulting my culture.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
I do like the song though. It's got a lot of pretty harmonies.
Kamaka wi wo ole.
Mm-hmm.
Kamaka wi wo ole.
There you go.
Kamaka wi wo ole. We wo ole. Yeah, that's the thing in Hawaiian. Every 2 letters is its own sound.
Really interesting.
Yeah, so it would be like ka'anapali, right? Ka'anapali.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Ka'anapali.
Ka'anapali. It's like, yeah, it's very like not stilted, but staccato, I guess might be the right word for it.
Yeah. Jiminy Cricket says Judy Garland died at age 47. Yeah, wow. Pretty young.
I have outlived her.
Yep. Pretty young.
Yep.
A lot of celebrities die young, though. It's just a celebrity thing. It really is. I was shocked to hear that Kobe Bryant died. That was like so shocking to me. Even I'm not even a sports person. I was like, what? Kobe.
Yeah, did you see that some dude like had said like in 2012, he's like, Kobe's gonna die in a helicopter accident.
Well, he's on helicopters like all the time.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that's how
pay no attention.
That's like how he got around LA. He was just always on a helicopter. So
gotcha. So that would make sense.
Mm-hmm. They still don't know exactly what happened. They think it was the weather or something. It was the weather, and they shouldn't have been flying at the time. It was super sad, man.
I know.
Also, like nine people in total died, so it wasn't just
really?
Like him. Yeah, it was 9 people. Yeah. That's why I'm afraid of heights. I'm terrified of things like helicopters. I don't do helicopters. I wouldn't get in a helicopter. Just me personally, I wouldn't do it. The noise of it, and then just being in the sky is just too much. It's sensory overload for me. I know my limits. I'd freak out. I don't even like roller coasters. I can't even be in a roller coaster. Like being trapped in. Yeah, I'd start to freak out.
These things go down. These things go down. Have you seen Midnight Run?
I don't think so.
Oh man, there's a great scene with Charles Grodin where when he pretends he's a fugitive and he's being brought in by a bounty hunter, Robert De Niro, and so he's they're trying to get him back to L.A. within 48 hours, and so he's like, as soon as the plane goes, he's all, I have a problem. He's like, I can't be on these things. I can't do it. He's all, and then the plane starts going. He's all, I can't do these things. Go down. These things go down. He starts.
That's like me.
Dude, honestly, I mean, there's like these movies that you just like, they're not huge hits or anything, but they're just great films. You've got to check out Midnight Run. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
I definitely should.
Charles Grodin is so great in it.
What can you imagine? Like being on a plane while it's going down has to be like the most terrifying thing
Oh my
ever,
gosh. Yeah.
right? Can you imagine? Because you're just like, you have to come to terms with your death in like a matter of like minutes. You have to just be like, okay, here it is. That's got to be like awful, man. I can only imagine. Like I've seen like videos of like people when they're in planes and they're experiencing turbulence. It's like, oh, I can feel the anxiety that the people are experiencing. Because it's like you can't just get out. There's nowhere to go. You're in the sky. In the sky. I think Final Destination. I saw that as a kid.
Oh no. Watching the wrong movies. I'm just traumatized.
I'm like, I'm never getting on a plane. Oh man.
That reminds me, I think I'm trying to remember who it was, but there was a preacher, I think it was Charles Spurgeon, who he was on a ship. This is, people used to get around on ships. And the thing hit like some crazy storm. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like that everyone was like worried that the ship was going to sink. And he was just like standing on the deck, and somebody came out to get him because they were all down below decks praying. And he's like, "Are you going to come down and pray with us?" And he just goes, "I'm all prayed up."
Oh my goodness.
Go. Is your grandma like is she like ready? I know there's a weird question, but my mom is like, she's always talking about how she's ready to go. She's 80 years old. I think your grandma's around the same age.
No, my grandmother's not quite 80. I think my grandmother's not 70 yet. She has a birthday coming up on the 23rd.
Oh,
she's either turning 70 or she's about to turn 70, I think.
Not ready to go. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes.
At Botch's house, she's telling me how she's writing a book about how she wants to live her life before she dies.
What?
And then she's like, putting all my stuff together so that when I die, you guys don't have as much of a hassle.
Oh, that. Jeez. I thought it was like a memoirs. It's like, no, what to do when I'm dead. Jeez, that's my mom, dude.
My grandmother isn't always like, I'm ready to go, but I mean, she'll say stuff like, well, whenever God is ready to call me home, it'll be time.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
The thing with my mom is she's a Buddhist, so she just thinks that she gets to hit the reset button.
Oh, like the reincarnation and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's just like, oh, whatever. I'll just wait for the next one. I'm like,
no. Wait till I'm young again.
All right. And it's because she's got family that's really sick in Japan right now, and so they're also they talk. She talks to her old friends. They're like, oh yeah, this is enough. It's like, we've been alive long enough. I was like, dude, freaking, I'm gonna be like working till I drop dead.
Right. I still need at least like 90 more years.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a workaholic. I know I'm a workaholic, but
yeah, I can't see myself like not working. I feel like even now, if I like go like 2 days without doing something, I start to like go crazy, kind of.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just like, oh my god! I'm like, I need to do something.
I was put here to do something, not just
do things.
Play video games.
Although playing video games is cool sometimes too.
How's your second life?
How's The Sims? They just, The Sims, they got bought by EA like years and years and years ago. And ever since they got bought by EA, The Sims has gotten like progressively more and more like money hungry. Like for The Sims 4, they released a pack called Laundry Day, which is exactly how it sounds. Your Sims can now do laundry. And they literally charged for that. And like, so the recent one, the recent like pack that they've got out now is Tiny Living, right? Tiny Living. Right, so they got all these objects to help you like build a little tiny home. I'm like, what kind of like crackhead elitist? Who came up with this? Who has who wants to live in I don't even understand people that live in a tiny house in real life. Why would I want to play The Sims and then live in a tiny house in The Sims? Like
those strokes, bro.
Those hipsters that live in tiny homes. They live in like these little tiny things where they're all living on top of each other. I'm like, oh my god, you've got to like.
because they don't live in Georgia, man. They live in Seattle, where it costs $500,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment.
That's insane. How do you live in a tiny house for like a year and then not hate the person that you're living with? Like you're like right on top of them, like
You know
all
what?
day.
You know what? You'll be surprised. My mom, I'm like I said, man, I'm Japanese. My mom grew up in Tokyo. I've been to the house she grew up in. It is tiny. It's like the size of my kitchen, and it was for a full family. She had 3 sisters, you know, mom or dad, stepmother, living in this just tiny little box. And I'm like, this is Japan. You know,
Oh,
this
man.
is Tokyo. And this was in the freaking, I mean, I went there in the 70s, early 80s maybe. And I saw it, and that's where she freaking grew up. So
I need space.
yeah, because we're spoiled Americans. We have 1,800 square foot homes and
Oh.
fill them with trash.
You know, it's more that I just need alone time, right? I need a place to go to get away from you, even just to get away from everybody else, right? I don't know.
Yeah, my niece is living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Germany with her husband and her kid, and they're expecting another. And she's like, we have to get a bigger place.
I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Quinn, you really need to cut down your digital carbon footprint. All right, I'll get a teeny house.
A teeny house, that's right.
I need one of those little teeny houses, and I'll wheel it around. And I can get on that teeny house show, and then I can make my teeny house in The Sims now because they have a teeny house pack.
There you go. See? I'm thinking outside the box. That's why I like, man. Always thinking outside the box. Always thinking outside the tiny home box.
See, I feel like my house isn't even big. My house is small. I have a small house, but there is still space for me to breathe. Right? If I get tired of looking at one room, I can go into a different room. You know, ever since I was a kid, I always wanted a library. And like now I finally have a library, like a dedicated room with all my shelves and all my books. And I feel like if anywhere that I live now, I need to have a library. I can't go back to not having a library. So I need that. Because I've always dreamed of having a library.
Yeah, I always dreamed of building my kids a tree house, but we moved into this freaking place and there's no decent trees. So
a tree house would have been magical as a kid.
I know. It was so weird. It was like the one thing I was like, oh man, when I have kids, I'm gonna build them in this awesome tree house and blah blah blah. And then we end up here, and now my oldest is 18. While he would probably still play in a tree house if I had built one.
I would play in a tree house.
Maybe I can get him a tiny house. Same thing.
See, tiny houses are tree houses for adults.
There you go. That's the way to think of it.
You know, I actually saw this video on YouTube of this guy that like built, well, it was him and a friend, and he built this house like out in the middle of the woods. Like he bought this little land, he built this house that was like eco-friendly. He had like a well, he had like solar power. And I was like, that's super cool. I still couldn't do that though. And then he had like a satellite and he was like getting internet somehow. And I was like, that's super cool. But still, I couldn't do that.
Hey, Quinn, can you send out a YouTube note? Tell your friends to come here.
Sure.
See if any of them actually get the notification.
Indeed.
Who in the chat actually came by Quinn's super secret video today and watched us talking the good and bad about Game of Thrones?
Super secret stream.
Super secret.
Create post.
I need a library. I like the dude who is building a freaking castle using shipping containers. I haven't seen that. This I have not seen.
All right. They make it so easy to share it. I didn't know you could share the stream just under the video like that. I've been going to like all the way to my channel page and clicking on the community button and then sharing it like that.
Oh,
you can share it right under the video.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I didn't do it that way either when I shared it from your stream. Oops, what did I do?
Ray Thula was in the secret stream. I think I saw him there.
I was in the
Secretly.
secret stream. I
In
was
the
a
secret
bit
stream,
off
secretly.
on. It always kills me when they show people with 3 kids living in a tiny house. Don't they realize these kids are going to be teenagers shortly, and you'll have 5 grown people living in that space?
And I feel like if you grew up in a tiny house, you can't have like a sense of like boundaries in space, unless like they're just really, really like strict about things and the rules. But then, like, I don't know. I feel like those
Yeah,
kids
you're like,
would like
there's
those
certain
kids,
kids you have to hold your ears tight, quiet, because we're trying to make another kid.
right? I mean, like, I need privacy. I need space. I need space. I would go completely insane in a teeny house. I don't care if it was the love of my life that I was living with. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, there's
Sometimes,
have you ever had cabin fever?
what's cabin fever? What
That's
is the actual?
when you've been living with somebody or staying with somebody for so long that every single thing they do just grates on your nerves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I first moved
Like, how
out.
dare you hold a taco like that? Right? It's like,
Okay, I had this roommate. So the person that I was dating, I didn't want roommates, but the person that I was dating wanted. And so randomly we just had roommates, and it was like really annoying because like randomly a person moved in. But this person, this guy, he was in school for singing, right? And I remember one time, person I was dating is like at work. I'm just laying in the bed, I don't know, reading a book, doing something, just laying in my room, and I hear from through the walls, I hear and then just talking like, hey, yeah, what's going on? Yeah. And then I'm like, what in the heck is going on? And then I hear like jumping as if someone's throwing themselves up against the wall and going. And so I go out and then talking, and I'm like, what the heck is happening right now? And so I go out, and he's like just in the living room. I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm just practicing. And I'm like, practicing what? And he's like, I'm doing my lip trills. And like, that's a thing that singers do, like lip trills, where you go, like loosens the vocal cords or whatever. But he's like dancing around the living room, doing lip trills loud, talking to himself. And I'm just here like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, so that dude was super weird, right? And he was with us for like almost a year. And like, man, and he would do that, and he would like, it sounded like he was throwing himself up against the wall. And yeah, he would eat my like snacks. Yeah, I was really glad that he moved.
yeah.
But you know what was messed up? When he moved out, he left his room in such a mess. I was so upset. We had to clean his room. And here's another story too. Before my granddad died, right? He had this antique like Coke bottle that he had for like 2 decades or something, like an antique Coke bottle. And he was like, here, have this, put it in your house or whatever. This dude, it went missing one day, right? And it wasn't until after we were cleaning out this dude's room, we discovered it in his room empty. He had drank that 2-decade-old like glass Coke bottle. Just drank it. Because it was sitting on the bookshelf in the living room and just went missing. This dude drank it. And we found it in the room under the pile of his just like disgusting junk. Yeah, so I know the feeling of like living with someone and wanting them to die, basically.
Hey, did you ever see Shallow Grave?
No, I didn't.
It's Ewan McGregor and Christopher Eccleston in like one of their earliest movies. Probably came out in 2003, 2004, maybe. So it's about these 2 guys and a girl who are flatmates, right? And there was another dude who was their flatmate, but he moved out, so they were looking for another roommate to, pay the rent. And so they go through, and them looking for a roommate was hilarious, just because they were like just mocking everybody. Like, these were the kind of guys that are just relentlessly mocking everybody, right?
Yeah.
So they finally do settle on this one dude. He moves in, he closes his door, and they never hear from him. Right? And eventually they're like, where's this? Where what happened to this? So they break into the room and he's dead.
Oh my god!
And under the bed is a suitcase full of cash.
Jesus Christ!
So they're like, "What do we do? What do we do?" So they're like trying to figure out. They're like sitting there, and it's like I don't know, 20 minutes of them trying to figure out what the hell to do. Whether to call the cops, call them or whatever, and that's is the mob gonna come looking for this money and blah blah. So they decide to keep the money, take him out, and bury him in a shallow grave. But they're
they
like,
shouldn't have kept the money. I wouldn't have kept it. I would have been like, nope, this money is tainted. I don't know what. I don't want to die.
Well, no, the thing is that they're like, well, we can't just bury him here because he's got his fingerprints and his dental records, so someone can find him and trace him back to our flat because his car's still there. So they had to get rid of the car. So they draw straws. Christopher Eccleston has to take a hammer, smash this dude's teeth out of his mouth,
Jesus,
cut off his hands and his feet for fingerprints. So Eccleston goes crazy, and then the other two roommates get all freaking scared of him and paranoid. And then the mob actually does show up,
of course,
for the money, and Eccleston kills them.
Oh my god!
And then they're just like terrified of this guy. They're like, take the money. So it's really this great dark comedy. I think you'd really like. It's called Shallow Grave.
Shallow Grave. Yeah, that sounds hilarious.
It's like right around the time he did Train Spotting, Ewan McGregor. So, and yeah, I think it's the first thing I ever saw Christopher Eccleston in.
Christopher Eccleston. I wish he got an extra season as Doctor Who.
I know.
I enjoyed the Christopher Eccleston Doctor Who.
I did too. He was the immediately post-war Doctor, angry, still seething at the Daleks.
One day I gotta go back and watch all of Doctor Who, including all the older stuff, because I haven't seen most of that stuff. I've seen all of the rebooted one. Well, not all of it, not the most recent stuff with the female Doctor and and Christopher Capaldi.
Yeah, Tom Baker's the best one. He's the longest running. He's the one I kind of grew up on because that's when I was a kid watching Doctor Who. That's who was Doctor Who for all that time. He did it for years, man. And then some of the other ones are a little quirky.
Yeah,
I haven't watched all of the episodes of all of them, but I've seen some of probably each of them.
I remember watching an episode with when they introduced the Cybermen for the first time, and they just looked so bad. It looked like they had socks on their head or something. It just looked awful. It looked awful. But yeah. Doctor Who.
You gotta go back and watch the last Capaldi season.
The Christmas special.
Christmas special, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I got to see what it's all about. Is it on Prime? Is it on Amazon Prime streaming yet? Because last time I checked, they were trying to make me pay for it, and I was like, nope.
Because
they had the season on there, but then they were like, you got to pay for the Christmas special. I don't know if it was
that was 2 years ago, so it's got to be.
It should be on there now. Let's see. I'll check. I might watch it after this stream.
Do it.
I'm in for some. I feel I want to watch some Doctor Who. I might even start back watching the female Doctor Who if the Christopher Capaldi Christmas one makes me feel happy. I might even finish watching those. Who knows?
I think you may have brought in some Quinn fans. I want to say hi.
Some Quinn fans and some Quinn fans here. We're just chatting. It's not too seriously of a stream. We're just chatting about some nonsense.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. Getting to know you.
Indeed.
Getting to know all about you. Stupid BBC deleting the tapes, said Jared Hankins. Did they really? Is that why there's... I mean, I've tried to watch some of the...
They deleted what tapes?
The originals, I guess. Doctor Who stuff.
Really? Why would they delete them?
I don't know. Maybe they thought it was just goofy 60s science fiction.
That's dumb. They should keep it up just for historical purposes.
That's true.
Isn't Doctor Who the longest running sci-fi show ever?
I think so.
Yeah.
Although
They
they
should-
did take a long break. So
Oh yeah, because the David Tennant thing was like, well, not David Tennant, but the Eccleston one. They were like calling it a reboot. Like this is the
Oh,
reboot. Yeah, it's technically like the reboot, even though it's like the same like continuity. Just like the Matt Smith one was a reboot. Like, cause like so the Eccleston through David Tennant is like the same series, and then the Matt Smith, it's a reboot. That's why, like, if you can tell they switched like showrunners and everything. You can just tell by the whole look of it and the whole feel of it that it's a reboot. And now I think they've been on the same one. It's technically the same
I think the thing
continuum.
you'll notice if you do watch some of the old ones is that if you watch the Tom Baker Doctor Who's, you can kind of tell that all the new doctors they wrote him to be Tom Baker.
Interesting.
Like they had Tom Baker's cadence and kind of writing in mind when they wrote the notes, especially Tennant. Could just be my opinion, but that's what I got out of
Wasn't
it.
David Tennant a big fan of Doctor Who?
Yeah, I'm sure all of my subscribers are coming in and disliking the stream because of the title.
The title? What's the title?
Make comics great again.
Great again? Oh. I want to make comics great again. What do you want from me?
The films were deleted because that was the standard thing to do back in the day. Oh, so they deleted them back in the day. I thought you meant like they were doing it now. That sucks, idiots. They should have kept it going.
Yeah.
Little did they know. That was before home video. Oh, please stop talking fantasy. There was no time before home video.
What?
You know, even the term home video sounds dated, doesn't it? Home video. I'm gonna go watch a home video. No one does that anymore. It's like I'm watching Netflix. And then if you're old, you're watching Blu-rays, maybe.
You're old. You're watching. Yeah, it's such an old technology.
You know, streaming has completely taken over. It really has.
I know. It's weird.
Like even Redbooks can't handle that heat. Even Redbox is like dying and stuff. Because it's like you can stream.
It's just so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember Blockbuster. Like I remember the video store. That's like I remember like going in the video store, like looking for the movie. Like that was awesome. And then like you'd like get popcorn and snacks. You could even get like the little popcorn buckets that looked like movie buckets. Put them in the microwave and then they pop up. I love that. But no more. They are all gone. Video stores are dead.
I saw a Blockbuster in Big Bear.
Really?
Just a few years ago, actually. I don't know if it's still there though.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, it was like it must not still be there because it felt like the shell of a Blockbuster. Like, half the shelves were empty, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this is not the way I remember Blockbuster.
Yeah.
But it's a vacation rental town, so maybe they still do have people who are like, renting
Maybe.
a cabin.
That would feel super like nostalgic to like rent a cabin and then like get like movies from a video store.
Right.
That would feel cool to do. So I guess maybe people just do it just for the nostalgic feeling of it.
No, it's because they're renting the cheap cabins that don't have any Wi-Fi.
And then the Axeman comes and chops down the door and kills him.
Oh, that's lovely.
Have you ever seen the movie Cabin in the Woods?
No.
Dude, Cabin in the Woods is great.
Is it?
Yeah, it's great. It's kind of like a parody horror. It's like playing on all the horror tropes. God, you should really watch Cabin in the Woods. I don't even want to tell you anything about it because you haven't seen it.
Who's in it?
But I'm pretty sure people in the chat can confirm it being really good. Let me look up who exactly is in it. Cabin in the Woods. It's super fun. When did that come out? 2011. God, that's so long ago.
So it's a horror comedy.
Yeah, it's like a horror comedy, basically.
That is a genre that just does not get enough.
Yeah, so Chris Hemsworth is actually in this. I think this might have been. I don't know if this was before or after. When did he become Thor? When was he Thor?
Like 2010.
Yeah, so this might have been right around the time he was becoming Thor. Yeah. Let's see. Richard Jenkins is in this. Bradley Whitford is in this. Sigourney Weaver is in this. Like
Really?
randomly, yeah, randomly. It's so random. Like I was not expecting to see Sigourney Weaver, but yeah, Cabin in the Woods is like great. It's so funny. Like there's such a cool scene at the end. I guess I could just tell you what it's
Wait.
about.
It doesn't have beavers in it, does it?
I don't know. No beavers. I don't think.
Okay, that must be something else.
I guess I can tell you what it's about since it has been like 9 years.
All right.
So basically, these teenagers go to a cabin in the woods, and for the first part of the movie, it just seems like a normal horror movie.
Uh-huh.
But then you find out that it's like this global organization that, in order to appease the old gods, they have to sacrifice a certain group of people. It's like the virgin, the fool, the whore. They have to sacrifice this group of people, and it's like this is in. But they're playing with all these like horror movie tropes. And so they got these kids in the cabin in the woods, and it's like Evil Dead. And they go to the basement, and there's all these objects. There's like the puzzle box from like Hellraiser. They could open that, and like something bad could happen. There's like the book from Evil Dead. They could read that, and zombies might rise. There's like a conch shell. They could blow that, and like a mermaid monster would rise. So there's all these potential things that could happen. And it ends up getting out of hand. And at the end of the movie, like all the monsters get out basically, and they go rogue on the organization. And there's this super awesome bloody scene that's super gruesome and cool with all the monsters just like going ham and killing everybody. It's really funny. And like it's not really super scary, but it's really funny and it's like really good. It's already a classic, I feel like. It's already a classic. I can't believe you haven't seen it. It's really good.
Well, you know what? I stopped watching horror after The Ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I mean, I have dipped my toe in a little bit here and there, but in general, that movie like freaked me out, and I was like, if this is the direction horror movies are going, I'm out.
The Ring. Look, I'm gonna tell you, The Ring was when I was a kid. The Ring was one of the scariest movies that I ever seen.
It freaked me out. I was like done with the genre.
And, I had a TV just like that in my bedroom,
Really?
where it was just like, those big TVs that had the big back, and I had one just like that. And I was like, she could have crawled out of it at any point in time. And I would legitimately be afraid, like at night. I'd turn off the lights and like my TV would be right there, and I'd be afraid just looking at my TV that it's just going to turn on and she like might potentially come out of it. And then also The Grudge. The Grudge was another one that comes out of the mind of Koreans. I think both of those are Korean, or are they Korean or Japanese? Japanese, yeah. The Grudge is another one.
Yeah, The Grudge came out right after The Ring, and I'm like, nope.
Oh, The Grudge is
like, nope,
The Grudge might be even more terrifying than The Ring,
really?
honestly.
Oh,
yeah. The Grudge freaked me out, man. The Grudge freaked me out. I love the original version too. But now like it's gone crazy in Japan. Now they've got like The Grudge versus The Ring. They've gotten ridiculous.
Really?
They've literally
like
got
Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah. They've literally got like The Grudge versus The Ring. And then at the end of The Grudge versus The Ring, they form together. And now they're like this super monster.
Oh my god!
And this is actual literal canon. Like it's not even like some offshoot. This is the canon. This is where they are at this point. So I wonder where it's gonna go from there.
Oh my gosh!
With like the crazy Japanese movies. I'm like, just let it die, please.
They're gonna merge with some tentacle porn thing.
Perhaps.
No, there's something wrong with my people, man.
They make some pretty scary movies, though.
Yeah.
I saw the movie.
It was so like not something you'd see in American horror, American horror is like, Nightmare on Elm Street and Jason and Michael Myers, and then it's like The Ring.
Yeah.
It's like this bizarre psychological horror that just gets under your skin, and you're like, get it out of me.
And they keep trying to like make The Ring happen in like the modern times, and I'm like, it just does not work. Like VHS is not a thing that we have anymore. Just let it die. Can't you? People, they don't understand that some things just need to stay in the era that they are. They've tried to reboot The Ring like 2 or 3 times now, haven't they?
I don't know.
They've done several new Ring movies, and I'm just like, stop, please stop. And I think they're doing The Grudge again too, aren't they? They're doing The Grudge again. I'm just like, it's really annoying. Leave it in the past. Because I remember, like, I remember, but it used to be right that a movie would come out and then like 20 to 30 years later, then maybe they would consider doing a reboot.
Yep.
But then now it's like we got to have a reboot like every like 7 to 10 years, and it's crazy.
It is insane. But yeah, if you want to reboot something from the 80s, that's a good time because you have time for the nostalgia to kick in. You can't have nostalgia after 10 years, right? That's not nostalgia. That's like, I remember this vividly because it was only 10 years ago.
Exactly. It's like I was kind of against like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, the reboots, because I was like, man, just like I always felt like they still could have done Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, right? Make him older, do an older Spider-Man story. I would have liked to see it. They could have come back with a really cool story, and because they always want to like retell the same story again. They didn't do it with the new Spider-Man guy, but they always want to tell that story where it's like Spider-Man, like Uncle Ben dies, and like then he gets his power. But I'm like, I'm tired of seeing that, right? I'm tired of seeing Spider-Man. I'm tired of seeing Uncle Ben died. Once was enough, honestly. I felt like they could have just, instead of going the Andrew Garfield route, they could have just brought Tobey Maguire back, Spider-Man 4, and just done a good older Spider-Man story. And I would have dug that. Because Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, I didn't buy him. He was too cool. He was too cool as Peter Parker. And then also that first movie was terrible. Do you remember what the plot in that movie was? People forget. The lizard guy, his whole plot was he wanted to turn everybody into lizard people for a few hours. Because if you remember, it only worked for like a limited amount of time. And they never showed him creating like a new form of the serum that like worked forever. So like his whole thing was like, I'm going to turn people into lizard people for like a few days or something, or like a day. And then they turn back. I'm like, what? That is the plan? And then like the other one was also stupid. The other one was like worse with like Jamie Foxx. God. Yeah, those movies were terrible. I say they should have done Spider-Man 4.
No, the Jamie Foxx one was atrocious. They pulled the Spider-Man 3 on the
too many villains.
Yeah. Tried to do too much. The Hobgoblin one was terrible.
Oh, so gross.
Totally nonsensical. Jamie Foxx, I like Jamie Foxx, but that whole concept of his character was,
his costume looks stupid. Like his whole like look was dumb.
Yeah.
Captain Hill says X-Men is played out too. Yeah, and it sucks because Sony made all those crappy X-Men movies, and they're not the X-Men. That's what's so crappy about it. Because like out of all those movies, there's probably like 2 actual X-Men movies. Like First Class is like and by an actual X-Men movie, I mean like a movie where there's like a team of X-Men that get together and like fight together, and that's like First Class, and that's like the only one that's actually like that. The rest of them are just like Wolverine. The Wolverine saga, pretty much. And then I didn't see not Apocalypse. I didn't see like the stupid Phoenix one, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only one I didn't see.
So I didn't care to see it. So I was like, I don't just let it die. And by the end of it, it was like they were having like Mystique was leading the X-Men, and it's like, what? When has Mystique ever been like the leader of the X-Men? Never. Literally never.
Lawrence.
What? Since Jennifer Lawrence. And, did you notice too that like ever since Jennifer Lawrence started playing the role, her makeup got worse and worse? Okay. Like if you look at Mystique in like the original X-Men movies, God, that makeup was awesome. But like you look at the Jennifer Lawrence makeup, it sucks. And then for most of those movies, towards the end, she's not even like in the makeup, and it's like, why would Mystique just be like hanging around, relaxing in Jennifer Lawrence form? Doesn't make any sense. Like she has to concentrate to maintain the form. So it doesn't make sense that she's just like hanging out, relaxing as Jennifer Lawrence. Like Jennifer Lawrence obviously just didn't want to put on the makeup, and she just felt like, I'm Katniss Everdeen, I don't have to do it. So she didn't. Yeah,
well, if she hadn't gotten so hot, then they wouldn't have given her such a big role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Mystique is a side character too. Yeah, she's like a side like villain. Like the way she was in the earlier movies is the way they should have kept her.
Yep.
but they emphasized her role, and it kind of was for the worse. And they
Rebecca.
tried to make her into a good guy, and she's not, and she's never been. She's always been like on Team Mystique, right? Ugh.
Look at these evil mutants, man. She's in the Brotherhood, and she doesn't even care that it's called Brotherhood.
Exactly. And you know, it's so dumb too, because God, which movie was this? I think it was at the end of it's at the end of one of those stupid movies. So you got in the chat, you probably remember, but at the end of one of the X-Men movies, like you see Wolverine get captured, and then it turns out Mystique is the one that captured him, and it's all like dun dun dun, Mystique captured Wolverine. And then in the next movie, literally the next movie, Mystique is just hanging out with the X-Men. And it's like they don't even remember the fact that she was responsible for capturing Wolverine in the last movie, and that he's like prisoner somewhere. And it's like they didn't even care about what they did in their own movie. They literally just like forgot about what they did in the movie right before that. And I remember seeing that
First Class to
I think it was whichever one with the JFK assassination.
The
assassination one.
The one after First Class.
Yeah, because it was the one where like Wolverine sinks to the bottom of like the lake.
Yeah, Days of Future Past.
Yeah, it was that one. And then in the next movie, literally, they don't even bring it up that Mystique was the one that captured Wolverine in the last movie. She's just on the good side, and Wolverine is still locked up. And so I'm just like, what? They don't even address it. And I was just like, God, it's so inconsistent. They don't care.
Still the bad guy.
She was totally good in that next movie. It was like, I'm on the good side now.
The whole time it's just a role she's playing because she's Mystique.
Apparently she dies in the Phoenix one. Apparently, I don't know. I didn't see it, but who cares anyway? Well, she didn't want to be there. She was probably like, kill me, please, and never like ask me to be in another one of these.
She should die.
Yeah.
Dark Phoenix.
She clearly didn't want to be there.
I really wish they'd have had the balls to just go full out and do the Shi'ar Empire and all that stuff and just do a stinking, you know what? You can Guardians of the Galaxy X-Men.
Exactly.
It'll work.
Sony was afraid, and then then Guardians of the Galaxy came in and showed that it could be done, and then Thor Ragnarok came back in and showed that it could be done again. And so now it's like, whoops, you had the opportunity, but you didn't. And I feel like it's the same mistake that the Game of Thrones dudes made, like where they want to like, let's shy away from the fantasy, like these comic book movie creators like Bryan Singer or whatever. Let's shy away from all like the cool comic book type stuff. Like we don't want to do that. Like why not? There's an audience for it. If there wasn't an audience for it, the X-Men comics would have never been popular in the first place. If people didn't like these types of stories, it's like so stupid to me.
Although I did just think about the fact that Corsair is he would be like Ego from it's like I'm your father.
That is true.
It's like what?
But apparently in the Guardians of the Galaxy comics, I haven't read them, but apparently like Ego is not Star-Lord's father like it is in the movies. I don't know though. That's what someone told me.
I tried to read that back in the 90s and it was absolute garbage. So
really?
Yeah.
What, Guardians of the Galaxy back in the 90s?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was crap. It was drawn by Jim Valentino, who's like
really
freaking worst artist. Then
Baby Groot.
Somehow or another they allowed him to join Image, and I'm like, I thought you were looking for good artists. What the hell?
You know, honestly, I think one of the reasons that Guardians of the Galaxy is so successful, one of the many reasons, but one of the reasons that I think it is that soundtrack too. The soundtrack in Guardians of the Galaxy is so freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. Like I love that. Like Ain't No Mountain High Enough when it plays at the end. It's so good. I love it. I love all those songs, and even the second one had really good songs too. Fooled around and fell in love. It's a good one.
Yep. That is one thing Quentin Tarantino does well as well.
Yeah, music.
Yeah,
definitely. I love in Kill Bill the sound that plays whenever she like approaches a foe, and it's like it's so funny, but I love it though, and it's like dun, 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 dun.
Star Trek fight music.
Right.
such a horrible plot. Claudio, what are you talking about? What has a horrible plot?
Yeah, what's a horrible plot?
Sherlock Holmes is a good example that can fit in different eras. I've always liked the Basil Rathbone movies.
Yeah,
I really like the Robert Downey Jr. movies.
I like those movies, and I did like the Benedict Cumberbatch show, but I felt like the last season was really bad. In last season, like it's like he's like fighting his sister or something, and it's like what? But then that show takes forever to come out with seasons. So
Yeah, wasn't that the last season?
was it?
Wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
It didn't
really
seem
hope
like
it was. I thought that actually ended really well.
did
Like,
it?
if it's a series finale, I think it ends really well as a series finale.
I didn't know if it was or not. I don't. I got to go back and I don't remember exactly what happens, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine they would try to do another one, but I really felt like they should leave it there.
Benedict Cumberbatch is a great actor. I remember seeing him in the movie The Imitation Game, where he plays. I can't even think of his name. But the guy that Alan Turing,
Yeah.
whatever, how you ever
That's
say
a
it.
great movie.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. He was really good in that.
He's fantastic. He's one of my
Turing
favorite
test.
actors.
Oh, really? He's got a great voice. Smaug. He did Smaug.
What's funny is when I heard Smaug, I thought that it was Tim Curry
Oh, really?
doing the
Does kind of sound like him now I'm thinking about it.
voice. Give it to me, boy.
Yeah.
Is that Tim Curry? No, Benedict.
Tim Curry has those like scary eyes, man. He's got psycho eyes, man. That's why if you look at him as Pennywise, it's scary. And I don't think the new Pennywise is scary. Like I look at him and I'm not scared. I look at Tim Curry's like more like simplistic, just like white face and then those yellow eyes. That is scary. That's way scarier than like who's new Pennywise? Skarsgård. One of the Skarsgårds. One of them. One of those Skarsgård boys. Forget which one it was.
Can we get it back to Batman that's actually a detective, please?
Right? That plot's been missing for forever. My whole life. I've never seen that plot in a movie.
Cast Benedict Cumberbatch.
You know, they've really never done that Batman detective in the movie. I've never seen that before. Like
Right.
in like the certainly not the Joel Schumacher one, not in the what's his name? The Tim Burton ones, definitely not in the Christopher Nolan ones. I've never seen that. That'd be interesting to see. Because Batman is the world's greatest detective.
Yeah,
People
right.
forget.
He's supposed to be basically the Shadow meets Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Did you ever hear the story about how that the Tim Burton movie came to be? Like how after Batman 66, the Batman property was just mud.
Uh-huh.
You know, like nobody wanted this goofy, campy character. Right? So there was a dude who knew, I can't remember who it was, if it was Archie Goodwin or one of these guys at DC, and he's like, this was back in the late 60s, early 70s, and he's like, I want Batman. And they're like, you don't want Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I want the rights of Batman. He's like, nobody in Hollywood will ever touch this product again. And so he got it like for nothing, like a steal, like $5,000 or something for the rights to do Batman. And he wanted to take it back to its original roots of being the dark crusader, right? The brooding, scary nightmare creature type, from the early Batman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so he had been just working and pitching this stuff until finally this quirky director named Tim Burton took a look at what he was doing and said, yeah, that sounds great. And so he got that together, and Batman became this $10 billion. And this was back in, I read this article back in the 90s. And it was like, it was a $10 billion property back then.
Dang.
That was before the Christopher Nolan stuff or anything.
And then they made a huge mistake and fired Tim Burton for Joel Schumacher. And then we ended up with Batman and Robin. Like that was like honestly though.
Actually, Batman Forever is my favorite Batman film.
Yeah.
From back then.
Oh really?
So his first one I like because
yeah.
I like Val Kilmer. I always thought Michael Keaton was poorly cast.
But God, George Clooney though. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Bobblehead Clooney, you mean? Oh my god.
Honestly, I think who was it? Uma Thurman is actually not bad as Poison Ivy. But other than that, like everybody else is just like terrible. And the whole movie itself is just terrible.
Chill out. Stuart Art is here.
But it's still kind of iconic at the same time.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was huge in 1989, the freaking Tim Burton stuff.
I remember Batman and Robin. I remember having it on VHS. I had it on VHS. I watched it all the time as a kid. Batman and Robin.
That's right.
Poison Ivy was super hot. And then Batgirl shows up in it.
Bat boob. Oh yeah. Suit me up, Uncle Alfred.
That movie had some terrible one-liners, man.
Man, that was my worst movie for decades. I would say, what's the worst movie ever made? Batman and Robin. No flinching, no hesitation. Oh man, what trash!
Pure trash.
Mike Stewart.
Mike Stewart.
Mike Stewart doesn't want to say anything. He just wants to show us his art.
He says hi in the chat.
Oh. He's waving. Hi.
I'm trying to figure out what I clicked on, he says. Maybe you have yourself muted.
No, he's not muted.
Oh. Vlad Riot says bat boobies.
Bat boobies, bat nipples that's Joel Schumacher.
Oh yeah, that was. I remember the bat nipples.
Yeah, the big addition to the Batman. I'm trying to figure out what I clicked on. Newbies to StreamYard, always fun.
Noob.
Oops. Z save R. Dude, I am going to be done with this book in a few days.
Sweet.
Right.
So Weldon's still at the convention? Still at the convention he was at?
It is Monday. He should not be. He's got the link, but he's probably. He doesn't actually stay up this late while his kids are going to school. Because he has to go help them and all that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So glad I don't have children.
You say that now.
Oh, it just sounds like so much work.
It is. It's
Jesus.
a ton of work. It's a ton of work, but I love it, man. I love having babies. My niece is here from Germany, and she's got her baby's like 2, and oh my gosh, so squishy.
I'm afraid of babies. Like I don't like holding babies. I'm just like, what if I like drop it, or what if like something happens and like its neck falls backwards and snaps off or something? I just can't. It makes me anxious.
What if its head falls off? What do I do?
Right. What if its head falls off?
It's all right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be afraid. It's okay.
Yeah.
Isn't Batman based on Zorro? Yeah. I think actually the Shadow might be based on Zorro too, but I think yeah.
I remember Zorro. You know, back in the day on Disney Channel, late at night, they used to just air random shows, and they weren't related to Disney. And one of them was The Mask of Zorro. And I used to watch it every night, like past midnight on Disney Channel. But
you want to hear something funny about The Mask of Zorro? Is actually I think it's The Mark of Zorro, which is the first Zorro novel. The novel is copywritten, but the actual story, The Curse of the Capistrano, was published in a serialized magazine prior to the copyright law cutoff. So Zorro as a character is public domain, but Zorro as the title of a book is still under copyright.
Interesting.
Right?
That's
so
weird.
you could make a Zorro comic book if you didn't call it Zorro.
Boro.
You could just call it the Fox.
You could just spell it Zorro with an X. Zorro. Pronounced the same, spelled differently.
Yeah, I actually have a character who's the descendant of Zorro.
Oh, really?
And it was going to be the legacy of Zorro.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was actually. I can tell you about it because I'll probably never do it. So he's this kid. You know, I don't remember. I might have just named him Diego de la Vega, but he was, you know, spoiled rich kid in California. He was trained in all this, you know, gymnastics and martial arts and fencing and all this stuff because, you know, that it's just his parents would just stick him in everything to keep him out of their hair, soccer, whatever. And he just got to this point where he felt like, you know, the prodigal son, but instead of like wanting to go home from this crazy life of debauchery, he just decided to kill himself. So he climbs to the top of his mansion, his family mansion, and jumps off, but crashes through the ground into the cave of Zorro, and like, discovers, like, first of all, he's you know, his family's Catholic, so he looks up from having survived this fall, and he sees this big old statue, this big old crucifix down there where, you know, his grandfather would do his praying or whatever. And then he looked around the thing, and it's like all this weapons and training stuff and all the stuff to be Zorro. And he sort of updates the stuff, but takes it as a sign that he's supposed to retake the mantle of this, what he just thought of as a legendary character, right? But he figures out that it's his great grandfather who was actually Zorro. So
that's pretty freaking cool, dude.
Yeah.
Time to steal it.
His enemy is actually his father's business partners are absolutely corrupt and working with the cartels and all this stuff. So like Diego de la Vega in the original stories, he pretends to be this carefree, you know, foppish playboy, you know, billion or wealthy playboy. Meanwhile, he's getting all this information about, you know, about what the cartels are doing through contacts in his own family business, and that's how he starts, you know, fighting crime.
Sounds pretty freaking cool, dude.
Interesting. What would be the time setting? It would have been current day. Although I came up with this, you know, 15 years ago. So it would have been current day 15 years ago. But yeah, someday I might stick that in my Blacklist universe of characters. But I'm just not willing to fight the Zorro people, because just like, you know, Superman technically I think is supposed to be public domain, and Mickey Mouse is supposed to be public domain.
No, they changed.
Is Mickey Mouse public domain?
It was supposed to be, but they had the law changed.
Yeah, it seems like Disney would not allow that.
Yeah. They're so powerful, they had the law changed. This is, again, crony capitalism. To change the rules to benefit them.
I know you think like South Park is really vulgar, but like it's so funny how they portray like Disney, because Mickey Mouse is a character. And he'll come around and he'll be like backhanding like Disney characters sometimes. Like, you do what I say, I'm Mickey Mouse. And there's like this really funny scene with like the Jonas Brothers at one point where he's like he's like backhanding them and be like, go out there and sing right now. And he's like totally insane, man. But you know, yeah. I love what they do with Mickey Mouse, South Park. Those guys just have no chill.
I'll have to check out some of the clips.
Yeah, definitely check out the Mickey Mouse South Park clip. It's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I saw the Mormon one.
The Mormon one. One's like dum 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 dum.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a great episode.
Smart.
Oh man. To hear that story just like laid out like that, you would think that they were just like making it up or like embellishing, but they really are just telling you the story, just like it's described in the Mormon Church, just like when they did the Scientology one.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man.
Oh, let's go the opposite way. Could they make Camp Batman into a full-length film? Camp Batman? You mean campy?
Like a campy version of Batman? I'd rather not see it.
I don't know what that is.
Someone said the one with Tom Cruise. Yeah, there's one called Trapped in the Closet with Tom Cruise.
Oh.
Yeah. He goes and hides in Stan's closet. It's the Scientology episode, actually, I think.
Yeah,
he goes and hides in
his closet or something like that.
Yeah, he hides in Stan's closet because Stan becomes like the new prophet for like the Scientology guy. Was it L. Ron Hubbard or something? He's like the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard, apparently. And then so Tom Cruise is in his closet, and then R. Kelly shows up, and he's all like, "Up in the closet, trapped in the closet." Because he had that like series of songs back in the day called "Trapped in the Closet," and then R. Kelly's like terrorizing the people with the gun. I'm pull out my gun. And Tom Cruise is and I guess they're trying to say it's like the joke is that Tom Cruise is gay and that he won't come out of the closet.
Right.
So
right.
he's in the closet, and they're all like, come out of the closet, Tom. No one will judge you. And he's like, no, I want to stay in the closet. Tom Cruise tried to sue them over that episode, though. I'm like, dude, this isn't helping make people think you're not gay. Trying to sue them.
Too funny.
Yeah, dude. They've got no chill. And if you react, they hit you harder. Like Barbara Streisand, they did one joke and she got really mad, so they turned her into like a megla. I forget what they called it, like Megla Streisand or something, where she was like this giant dinosaur killing monster because she got mad about one thing that they did, and so they were like, okay, we'll make it worse. We'll turn you into like a giant dinosaur killing machine monster.
Why you don't feed the troll?
Mega Streisand. Mega Streisand. That's what it is right through, though. Mega Streisand. It's so insane. So ridiculous.
The Japanese giant robots. Oh, man. I want to finish this page, but I should probably quit and go to sleep.
Should probably quit and go to sleep.
Look, I think Mike Stewart's finally figuring out his thing.
Oh my God. Person in the chat, I will not approve that comment. but that's funny though.
Do I have a pencil now?
Pen.
Pen. I don't have any like regular pens. I have art pens.
Mega Streisand. Yeah, South Park has done some pretty interesting episodes. Some people have gotten it pretty bad. Tom Cruise is one of them. They like really dissed him hard, and also Barbara Streisand. Oh, and Michael Jackson too, right? They destroyed Michael Jackson. That Michael Jackson episode when I was a kid was like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like moves into South Park, and then he's like got the kids sleeping in his bed, and he's all like, "We're just friends." And by the end of it, his like face starts falling off.
No.
And he's like calling his surgeon, like, "Please come, I need you now." It's like, "Fly in right now." Someone in the chat saying ignorant. Yeah, because he's all like, ignorant, they're ignorant throughout the episode. Those guys are ruthless. I mean, you can kind of debate whether or not it was okay for them to like come back after he was dead and then do that other episode now. Because like after he was dead, they did another episode where he was like a ghost, and then he puts himself inside of a little girl, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've always wanted to be." I guess the joke was Michael Jackson always wanted to be a little white girl, And that was, I don't know. It's the South Park guys. It's not me saying this if you're a Michael Jackson fan. I'm sorry. But that was the joke. Because he, you know what Michael Jackson is famously accused of doing. So, whatever.
What was he what?
But yeah. But they're ruthless. The South Park, they don't care.
Yeah.
They will go after anyone.
There are no sacred cows in South Park.
Indeed. Oh.
What? Why? There was a episode of why Japan.
Oh, the whaling episode. Yeah. There's a whaling episode of South Park. Yep, that's definitely an episode. I forget exactly what happens in that whaling episode, but basically the boys want to stop whaling, so they get on that show Whale Wars, and then they realize that the show Whale Wars is just like BS or something. I forget exactly what happens in the episode though, but it's funny. South Park they always have, even if I don't agree with all their takes in the episode, they always have interesting takes. Like I remember they did the rainforest episode where like they go on a field trip to the rainforest and then they get lost in the rainforest and then taken hostage by like savages in the rainforest or something. And then like and they're all like, you just want to protect the rainforest because you like its pretty colors, or like I don't know, something. I forget the rainforest episode. It was pretty funny though back in the day. I forget exactly what the point of that whole episode was, but it was interesting nonetheless. I like the crab people episode too, where they like were parroting the Queer Eye episode. You know that show Queer Eye that was on back in the day? They did a Queer Eye episode, but then at the end of it, the Queer Eye guys are crab people that want to take over the world. They want to take over. And they've got a little song that's like crab people, crab people. Oh man.
They did censor Allah?
They did. Yeah. Not initially, I don't think. I think initially they did just show him, but then later they were forced to censor him.
Didn't they like put him in a bear suit or something?
Yeah, later on they had him in a bear suit too, yeah. They put him in a bear suit.
Interesting. Yeah, I wish I should give that show a try. It's funny because
you have to click on the right episode though. You might click on the wrong episode and be done with it for life. I'm dead serious.
The superhero group with Buddha, Jesus, and Muhammad. Wow.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They all team up and they're like, that's one of the really older episodes where like they all team up. That's super hilarious. I love the one where Jesus and Santa team up a bunch in South Park. But there's one that I really like that's like that they're parodying the Da Vinci Code. And like Jesus he's like prisoner, and then he's all like, I have to awaken my powers. I'm like, how are you gonna awaken your powers, Jesus? And he's like, I have to die. And he has to kill himself inside of the cell, and then he's got his Jesus powers back. But yeah, that one was really funny. Because I love the making fun of the Da Vinci Code, because like there's that scene in the Da Vinci Code where they're like zooming in on Da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper. And he's all like, look closer. But in the South Park episode, it's all like, look closer. Look more closer. Look more closely. It's just, and then it zooms all the way in, and there was like rabbit ears because they tie it into Easter or some crap. I forget what they do. That's a funny one.
Yeah, I just remember Da Vinci Code being really boring.
The Da Vinci Code. I read all of those books in high school. I was a big Dan Brown dude.
Boring, dude.
Yeah.
Like the only interesting stuff about it is the history parts. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Read a history book.
That's what I liked about it. I liked learning. I mean, I guess I like when I was because now I look at those books and I'm just like, God, what garbage. And like I've even recently read like his most recent book in that series, Origin, and that one was just pure, unadulterated trash. But like, I guess when I was in high school, what was appealing to me is like, you open those books up and it says like, oh, all these organizations are real. So I was like, ooh, I'm like learning like some secret knowledge about secret organizations. So I guess that was appealing to me. And I guess I enjoyed like the unfolding of the mystery. But then I guess as I got older and I read more and more, going back to Dan Brown, it's all very formulaic. Like every one of those books is exactly the same. same story told over again. It's always like Robert Langdon, like a female character, solving a mystery. And it's just like, I don't know, whatever. I feel like the controversy more than anything sold that book.
Yeah.
The whole controversy about whatever, Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
And all that.
Well, it's funny because reading the book, or I think I listened to it on a drive or something. Like I said, that was the most interesting parts, and I was like, this is going to make a terrible movie. Because if you've got a movie where the most based on this book, where the most interesting stuff is somebody talking about history,
Yeah.
how do you visualize that?
I don't know. Some young artist says, almost got it figured out, except the mic. Stephen Ernest says, those Dan Brown ideas have been out for ages. But I remember when like the Da Vinci Code was like first like being a thing, people were like really like mad about it. There was a huge controversy. I remember like I don't remember what grade I was. I think I was like around 16 when like the third book in that series came out, The Lost Symbol. And I remember just like reading it, and like someone walked up to me and they were like, oh, like, do you believe in what's in that book? And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, but do you believe what he says in that book about like God and Jesus? And I was like, it was just a book to me. I don't really like I don't take it seriously.
Yeah, that's the thing though. I think people were taking it seriously.
Yeah, it's just a book.
Yeah.
It's just a dumb book. Not even like a really good book.
You're like, it's just a poorly written book.
Right?
I'm not going to turn into a Scientologist.
Yeah. It's just a dumb
Like,
little book.
This is Battlefield Earth. Sometimes I forgot how young Quinn is.
Yep. I only look 900, but I'm actually 1700. You know, I have this awesome skin regimen.
He rubs. Never mind.
I am an eldritch being. Oh, tell me about it, Crossraven. Inferno is terrible. Terrible. That book is so god awful. And then what makes it even worse is in the next book, because at the end of Inferno, like 2/3 of the population of the earth get like, they become infertile because of like this mad super scientist genius guy unleashing this virus. So that's the end of the last book. And then in Origin, they don't even address it. It's like the world isn't changed. Everyone's just the same, going about their lives. No one cares about the fact that 2/3 of the population is now sterilized. I mean, you're not going to address it, Dan Brown, even though it's supposed to be literally in the same whatever. It was just stupid. Yeah, continuity. Dan Brown. The hackery.
Did they get around? They did 2 of the movies, right? Did they do Angels and Demons? What was it?
They did Angels and Demons. They did Da Vinci Code. I don't think they ever did Lost Symbol. I think they skipped that one. They did Inferno, I think. And then I think they might be working on Origin, maybe. I don't know.
Sucker Tom Hanks into these films.
I don't know. You know, Tom Hanks is the only thing that makes like the Da Vinci Code even like slightly watchable. I like Tom Hanks, but you know, Da Vinci Code, and that one guy that walks around whipping himself. He's like, I must feel pain.
I completely forgot about that. Let's just stop reminding me about that movie. Mike Stewart, have you figured it out yet?
That guy represents you
think I
watching the
did.
movie.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right.
There you go. Now I can start drawing.
Right on. Mike, Quinn, Mike.
What's up, Quinn?
Quinn,
Hey,
you're
what's up, dude?
outnumbered by Mikes.
Oh no. In a world where you're outnumbered by mics.
In a world full of Mikes.
I know.
So, Mike Stewart, what you got? Let's see what you're doing.
Oh, that's complete. Right now I'm working on some pages for my graphic novel.
Cool.
It's about your graphic novel.
It's a mess. This is my Orphans versus Zombies that I'm working on. I haven't shown anything really of it yet. I'm just slaving away on the pages for it.
You planning on putting that on Indiegogo?
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know. We'll see what people say about it.
What's it about? You said it's about orphans fighting zombies.
Yeah, like it started out where like I don't know if you remember back in like 2013, 2012 when Walking Dead just started taking off on
Yeah.
TV. I was like sick of zombie stuff. So I was like, you know what would be cool is if a bunch of kids were killing zombies with their toys,
Yeah.
like slingshots and baseball bats and stuff. I said then I would like watch it, but well, that's kind of how I came up with it.
Yeah, rather than The Walking Dead, which is just like people talking.
Yeah.
And like zombies attack for 5 minutes.
Right, because at that point there'd been like so many zombie movies already that, and they're not all bad. It's like it's just like oversaturated, I guess.
Yeah.
But now I've become part of that.
So you know, generally they're just like all the same. They're all like the same formula, basically. I haven't seen one with, like kids killing zombies, so that's super unique.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it is, but I don't know. It's fun. Not the next big epic, but it's fun.
Like Boy Scouts versus zombies or something like that?
I don't know.
What's that?
Wasn't there like a Boy Scouts versus vampires or something like that?
I think there are a lot of those type of things. Like I had one guy message me and he said that he thinks his friend told him that I stole his idea and that he came up with something about cheerleaders fighting zombies or something cosplayer zombie. And I'm like, no, I guess I'm just slower at what I'm doing because that guy came out with his, he published his thing first, but I'm still like working on mine slowly over the years. Like just an idea that I've been slowly going.
All right. How many pages in are you? How long have you been working on it? And how many pages is it?
Well, so what happened is I actually did an entire like 20-page issue, but I kind of like canned it because I didn't like the drawings. So I started over and I'm doing like a 30 to 40-page redo of the whole thing. So it's like, it's kind of been on the back burner for a while, but now I'm finally like getting it done. So this version of it I've been working on for a few months. So this is the one that's gonna like make it to publishing.
Sweet.
Unless you get to the end and you're like, I don't like it anymore.
I don't know. I don't think that way anymore. But like, you probably know what I mean. Like as an artist, you kind of like you're like, oh man, I don't like how this looks. Like,
yeah, I hate stuff as it leaves my table. Actually, I often hate stuff while I'm drawing it. So
right, and that's a good thing because then it means we're getting better. Like we're wanting to get better. We're seeing what we can fix.
Not getting better. That's my problem. I'm not taking the time to.
Well, I like your art quite a bit. Pretty good. I think you are getting better.
Mike is a hack.
Totally.
He is not good. I've seen worst art at like a middle school art gallery. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I mean better art. No, I'm kidding though. Mike's really good.
Oh, I know you're kidding.
No,
That's a great butt, Mike.
I think the problem is I compare myself to people whose art I actually like. Thank you. It's important.
Right. That is
Maximus. It helps helps keep your back strong.
That's a good thing because you don't want to look at people's work who you think is not as good as your art, because then you're kind of like sitting on your laurels and like, oh, I'm already good. But you look at people's work who you think really good, then you're wanting to get to that level, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
And then plus you know, generally for artists, we grow up in limited exposure to other people, and then you know everybody we know says, "Oh my gosh, you're the best artist," and then you're like,
Right.
"Oh, thank you. I must be the best artist." It's like, bruh, you know, like 20 people.
Yeah, because everyone around you can't draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Liefeld. No, just kidding.
Hey,
But but that's a good thing that we can like artists that sit back and like, you know what, I can improve, rather than just hearing like the yes men
yeah, but
thing.
it's funny because I look at other artists like you know, Frank Cho or Adam Hughes or Jim
Oh yeah.
Kim or you know, some of these Travis Charest. I know the guy. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. And I'm like, I don't see any flaws, right?
Right.
I'm like, how do you get to? And I wonder if they do, because I don't. But I see flaws in mine like everywhere. You know, like things I think I should have done better, but I'm not going to spend a week on a page because I ain't got that time.
Right. Those guys are all phenomenal artists, so it's like I don't know, maybe it's part of it. You've been through the process of creating that art, so you can see what's wrong with it, but maybe they're seeing stuff that others don't if we're like admiring their stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just like a theory or something.
An art theory.
Yeah.
The game theory.
The theory of art.
But I do not like Marvel stuff that they've been putting out.
Same.
That's art. I just, man.
What,
I mean,
art?
that's part of why I'm supporting like indie comics and like.
Do you not like Ed McGuinness?
Is he back in Marvel? Or?
No, he's never left.
Really? I thought he was.
Yeah, he
like,
was at DC years ago, but he's been at Marvel for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Avengers now.
Huh. Well, I mean, I don't like the SJW, whatever you call it, the safety manual stuff that looks like it's like the barf bag drawings or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I think you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're hiring some really crap artists, but you know that doesn't mean. Dude, Lineal Francis Yu is still working at Marvel, killing it.
Right, he's not in part of that stuff, but he's going up there with those other guys.
Yeah.
But
oh, they just announced the new Doctor.
There's a new Doctor?
Yeah, and it's another lady.
No.
It is. It looks like, I think so. Yeah. It's an older black woman.
Wait.
Yeah. I don't know who this actress is. I'm just now seeing this on Twitter.
Share it.
I was looking at my phone. Okay, let me go back to Twitter and see if I can find the same post. Yeah, this is the Doctor Who official Twitter.
Well, hell, I'll just go to it then.
Is it Whoopi Goldberg?
I'm going to it now. No, it's not Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, she's in the new the next season of that new Picard show.
I know. I saw that. Share screen. I'm sharing my screen. Application window. Share. You guys seeing this?
Yeah.
It is.
So that's not Whoopi Goldberg.
Which one's the Doctor?
Well, the blonde one is the current Doctor.
How can?
Oh, okay.
And so it looks like this other lady is the new Doctor now. It's looking like it, I think, based on. Yeah, I haven't even watched most of the news. I haven't seen the Peter Capaldi Christmas special, and then I skipped over. Yeah, I skipped over most of her episodes. Haven't seen them yet, so
I haven't
I
seen
don't know.
Episodes.
I think the last one I saw was the Rosa Parks one. Then I was just kind of like, it's kind of heavy-handed. So I was like, I was hoping for David Tennant to come back.
I know this picture showing me doesn't look too promising. I think I'll pass on this.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been into Doctor Who for a while now, and I don't. You gotta give me something good to get me to get
No,
back into it.
I'm disinterested, but I will say she looks more interesting than
The current one. Yeah, because she's really.
More
I
capable.
found her quite boring. I found her quite boring and just kind of vanilla and bland. It's quite bland.
Yeah.
For the few episodes that I did see where she was in it. All right, so new Doctor. And fine, we were just talking about Doctor Who, Mike.
Yeah.
Just talking about it.
I wonder if they're just gonna straight up make her. Never mind. I was gonna talk about her because the last screwdriver, sonic screwdriver, looked a little. What's the word? Dildo-y?
Wait, someone in the chat is saying that she's the first Doctor.
Oh, what?
And that she's a female.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, maybe that's what's going on because it just says the Doctor here, and I don't know.
Yeah, didn't they? They said they were going to be announcing the gender of the first iteration.
Oh, so the first Doctor was female, is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't assume gender.
I just assumed it would be female once they said we're going to announce the gender of the first Doctor. It's like, why would you make that a thing if you're not going to use it for woke points?
Do you remember when they turned Master female in Doctor Who? Do you remember that? Did you stay long enough to see that?
I liked that.
I liked her, and that actress is in the Sabrina show too, which I dig. But I liked her as Master. That was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this chick, the current Doctor Who lady, is boring.
The interesting part about Missy being the Master is you didn't know she was the Master.
Twist.
Yeah, it was a twist. You were like, who is Missy and why does she know all this stuff and how can she do all this stuff? And then she's like, well, because I'm the Master, stupid.
They just found the perfect actress to play the character too. So,
but that was the thing, is that before they pulled the old twisteroo, they made you fall in love with the character.
Yeah.
Right. They weren't trying to force something.
It wasn't just like shoehorned.
Yeah. Right.
I just wish the new Doctor Who wasn't so boring though. Like she really is. I feel like she doesn't have much of a personality. She's very safe of a character, very timid.
But is that the writing or the actress?
It feels like the actress. It really does.
So she's another like Brie Larson type.
Well, no, not really. I saw her in She was on an episode of Black Mirror, and that's all I've seen her in. But like,
she was in what's that movie? It was a TV series with David Tennant.
Which TV series? I don't know.
Freaking hell!
Eden, that Broadchurch series.
Yeah, Broadchurch.
Yeah, I haven't finished that. I watched a few episodes of that.
That was good.
I should watch it. Should give it another try.
Mela.
Yeah, I just find her boring. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I want David Tennant. Come on. Give that man like a dump truck of money and have the Doctor just regenerate back into David Tennant. How hard can it be?
I know. Well, you know where I stand on that. Just do another series with the human Doctor.
Yeah, with him on with Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rose and the Doctor. It would depend on if Billie Piper wanted to come back though.
What else is she doing?
I don't know. I don't know. She was in Penny Dreadful, but that was a while ago, so. That was a while ago. And I think she was in this show called Diary of a Call Girl or something like that, but I never saw that.
Did you watch Doctor Who, Mike? At all?
Not really. I mean, I've seen a few of the old ones.
Yeah.
But I'm not as much of a TV head as I used to be. I occasionally watch things here and there.
I think Claudia Acosta wants me to say her name. So there you go. Claudia Acosta. I said it. I know your name now.
Come on, I've been following the order, Gray, Raw, and you for a while, and you still don't know my name. AKA Snarky Weezer. Now he knows. You had to come here first.
Yep. It was the only way.
This is the way. I did watch that Mandalorian show.
I still haven't seen it. I think Mike has though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 80% good.
Oh yeah, it's better than the Force, whatever, Ray, Super Ray, whatever it is.
The Force Ray.
I just keep thinking of like Superman, like with her abilities, so I just call her Super Ray.
I think Mandalorian is good TV, but it's like hard because for the budget they had, I thought they could just do so much more. You know,
there's
that show has an amazing like $15 million an episode.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money. And somehow it just feels like you're not spending it all.
Wait, Mandalorian has that much?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones had that much at like its height.
I know. Game of Thrones
Jesus.
started at $6 million an episode.
Yeah.
And maybe some producer somewhere has most of the money in his pocket. Who knows?
Right?
I mean, Jesus Christ, yeah. Because from what I've seen of the Mandalorian, like that last season of Game of Thrones, as much as I hated it, like that was some impressive, like cinematic looking stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. 15 million on the Mandalorian every episode. Where's it going?
I don't know.
Maybe Kathleen Kennedy has done something with it. Who knows? Donate it to a good cause.
Pedro Pascal gets paid $10 million an episode.
He is not big enough to get paid $10 million. His one role that he's known for stuff, but like he's known for being, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, baby. Let's not get on that again.
Oh, yeah, we did like do a whole stream about Game of Thrones earlier.
Yeah.
Whole Game of Thrones thing.
Cheyenne says, second YouTuber I love. Talking about you, Quinn.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Little old me.
Cheyenne loves you.
I love you too, Cheyenne.
Great. You just created another stalker, Quinn.
Oh, no. I already have too many.
That's how stalkers are created. It's like, yes, I love
he
you.
loves me.
I have you on tape.
I'm just kidding, Cheyenne.
We love you in the platonic YouTube sense.
Exactly.
The new Lord of the Rings series costs almost $1 billion? What?
Yes, I did see that number. $1 billion apparently they're spending on this, which I'm thinking like Amazon, I know you guys got a lot of money, but don't put all of your eggs in the Lord of the Rings basket thinking that you've got a hit for sure, because those Hobbit movies underperformed. Also, yeah, they did. Big time. And they also like underperformed as far as like the critical rating. They were like pretty much panned. So we'll see. I mean, because Lord of the Rings, you can't touch that trilogy. And I know this is supposed to be like a prequel, a few decades before or something like that. I don't know exactly how long it is before, but I don't know, we'll see.
They're just working off the Silmarillion, right?
I think so. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know, but we'll see. They're putting a lot of money into it. So
that's I would say $1 billion.
Yeah, but that doesn't guarantee a good show. Like, no. I mean, if the narrative isn't there, if like the writing isn't there.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind about all these freaking movies they make in Hollywood. It's like so many of them have just such piss poor writing, and they have millions, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. They can find a good writer. I mean, it's kind of the important part of the story.
Yeah. Just get the writer, and then you can like make it look good.
All right. Get a great writer.
Like they make their judgment and casting, like picking writers based on like politics these days. It really seems that way.
It does happen.
I mean, not everything, but
Well, you know what?
a lot of stuff.
That's just nepotism. That is the nepotism is how you get stuff made in Hollywood, and particularly nowadays, for a lot of people doing the hiring, that nepotism includes making sure you have the right politics. So,
Yeah,
go for an interview wearing a Trump hat.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They might like try to shoot in the back of the head for all we know. It's like people are getting attacked all the time for that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know if they're going to do that like at Warner Brothers, but you never know.
Right?
Have you watched the Witcher show yet, Mike? Mike's.
Yeah.
Just
I'm just going to refer to you guys as Mikes.
Oh, which one? Which? All right, just call me.
he knows
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
watched it yet.
I still haven't seen it, so yeah. What do you think of it?
It's. I mean, I like the video game, but
I do too.
and I like that show. It's. I mean, it's a little bit too. I would not advise children to watch it, but
No.
I mean, it's enjoyable. But there's definitely some like shocking type of stuff that's not like normally seen on TV. Like when she was transforming and stuff, one of the characters.
Yennefer, I heard they turned
Yeah.
Yennefer into like a hag or something at first, and then she.
Yeah, that was like a visceral, very, I guess you could say grotesque scene. So,
It's like gruesome.
I mean, I don't mind it, but there's
Yeah.
like general audiences aren't gonna be like wanting to see that. But
Well, it's probably not a general audience kind of show.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're going for like the Game of Thrones crowd. They're trying to catch those people.
Yeah, but that was the
Yeah.
thing. I heard somebody was like, "Yeah, if you need your Game of Thrones fix," and I'm like, and then I watched that first episode. I'm like, this
This is not give me my Game of Thrones
quality
fix.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And, the thing is, even when Game of Thrones was just like terrible, when the writing was at its worst, it still just like has like crazy high production values like all the time. So I don't know. That's hard to follow.
People think like a Game of Thrones fix is just like a fantasy story. It's like that. No, you're totally missing out on the point.
We need that high production. We need that good writing. We need intrigue. What drew people into Game of Thrones initially was like the intrigue and the politics and like the characters and all these like relationships and all the betrayal and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean the whole first book, it's more.
That's what it is. It's the Game of Thrones.
Yeah. It's not fantasy. It's just sort of an off-world medieval story.
Mm-hmm.
With fantasy historical things mentioned.
It's like sandwiched.
Yeah.
Like that first book is literally sandwiched, like with ice and fire. It starts with ice, you see the White Walkers, and then ends with the coming of the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Fire.
Spoilers, in case you haven't read it.
It has been. When the Game of Thrones come out, like 20 years ago. Like the show is already over.
Anything about the show, the dragons hatch.
I mean, they've been putting dragon in their promo for like
that's the joke.
10 years. Oh man.
You're explaining my joke.
Sorry.
aren't they developing the prequel shows
Yeah.
for that, like the Targaryen family line and stuff like that?
One of them got canceled. One that they were calling Blood Moon, which was supposed to be about the origin of White Walkers, got canceled because no one cared. And so now they're working on Fire and Blood. Well, it's called The House of the Dragon, and it's based off of George R. R. Martin's most recent book, which is titled Fire and Blood, which is about the Targaryen history. Fire and Blood covers the first 150 years of the Targaryen history, actually. So
good.
Yeah. So
You sold me on that one, so I'll definitely be
there's
watching that.
There's cool stuff in that book, depending on where they start, because about 150 years passes in that book. So they're going to have to like pick a place and then just kind of stay there. So I'm wondering, because there's one scene that I'd like to see. So there's this one scene. You've heard of the dragon Balerion the Black Dread if you've watched Game of Thrones. That was so when Dany's ancestor first conquered Westeros, his dragon was Valerion the Black Dread, and that was like the last of the Valyrian dragons, essentially. And it was a huge dragon, right? And so after this dude's dead, one of his granddaughters steals the dragon, and she disappears for like a year. And then when she comes back, Valerion the Black Dread, this huge dragon with like these giant impenetrable black scales, is like scarred, like something has attacked Balerion and left him like he's like scarred and bleeding. It's like, what the heck like could do this to Balerion the Black Dread? And then the girl that's like clinging on to him, they take her and she's burning up and she's so hot. And like over the days that they have her, she's like cooking from the inside out to the point where her eyeballs like boil like hard-boiled eggs, they say. And then they put her in like ice water and then she just dies, and then out of her body pours all of these like worm creatures, and they've got like faces and like hands, and they're creating this like inferno inside her. And when they come into contact with the ice, they just like die and shrivel up. And like the Targaryens and the Maesters, they all covered it up. They were like, we don't want anyone to ever know that this happened, because we don't want anyone to know that we like potentially like avoided an epidemic. So maybe like whatever was going on there relates to the doom of Valyria and what happened to the Valyrians, back in the day. So I'm curious to see if they put that in the show. I hope so, because that's one of my favorite parts of that book. But yeah.
Well, you sold me on that, so that sounded exciting.
So good, man. George R. R. Martin.
I don't know. I kind of want. I know it's kind of weird, but I kind of want a replay of the like Baratheon and Targaryen thing. So I'm like, if there's any like friction between his Aegon's half brother, I kind of want to. I want to explore that relationship.
Yeah, and they have all the actors that did those flashbacks that they can actually go ahead and do that.
No. This takes place. So so Baratheon is actually the first Baratheon was a Targaryen.
Yeah,
he was the half brother of Aegon the Conqueror. So that's why I was saying it's like, you have Game of Thrones, or the series and A Song of Ice and Fire in the books, that kind of the whole fight started over between Baratheons and Targaryens. So it would be interesting to play that dynamic sort of back out hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, that would be
not necessarily in conflict, but I don't know. I just want to know what happened.
I honestly think they're going to do the dance of the dragons, and then you could probably throw some of that Baratheon conflict into there for sure.
That'd be cool.
Because we've only got the first half of the Dance of Dragons in Fire and Blood anyway, because he's yet to release like the second part of that history book. So there's a whole second half, because we got the first 150 years in Fire and Blood, and there's another book coming that's like the next 150 years, because there's 300 years total of Targaryen history. But yeah, so we'll see that. Maybe we'll find out what happened to the Witch Queen of Harrenhal too. What was that?
I don't know, I was wondering if Mike, is there going to be like comics that you're doing covers for and whatnot for the Game of Thrones stuff upcoming?
I'm still doing the covers for the Clash of Kings books.
Oh, okay.
Because they're long as heck.
Yeah, that'll be forever until I decide I don't want to do them. But I think I'll just keep doing them because
Why not?
Right.
Why not have your name on all those books?
Right.
I know those are. It's a good series. I just didn't like the ending of the TV show. But...
Nobody does. I'm a huge fan of the books. Everybody's sad about it. We all hate it. We all hate it. It was disrespectful. Even George R. R. Martin hates it. Like I can just tell, like from his blog post, that he just cannot stand what they did to those characters.
Yeah, I don't understand this new. It seems like a new thing in storytelling is to, like, what do they call it? Subjugate your expectations or something.
Subvert is what subvert expectations.
Like, what is that, and where did that come from?
You know, they're doing it in a lazy way. I mean, you can like you trick people as far as like I mean that used to be called just like a twist, right?
Yeah.
It's a twist, right? When we gotta subvert expectations. I mean, there's a way to do that without like having it be like lazy and shoehorned like they did, like we just having like Daenerys kill everybody for no reason. She's
That
like,
and
I'm
then
just
the
gonna kill
Star
everybody.
Wars is doing it too. Like with the Rise of Skywalker was a similar type of thing.
Yeah, people are really mad about that one too. So I'm not a Star Wars person. I haven't seen it, so I saw the previous two, the other ones in that trilogy, but I haven't seen the most recent one.
I haven't seen it. I've seen clips and then I read the whole story, and it's like they try to subvert your expectations by putting the Emperor in there and like killing off everybody that like all the classic trilogy characters that everybody loved. So it's like even though you're subverting expectations, you're pissing everybody off. So
You know, it's
it's not
funny.
really a good way.
The plots got leaked for that story like freaking, I don't know, a year ago.
For the
And
Star Wars movie,
yeah. And I mean, they were so bad. People were like, "Oh,
this isn't gonna happen.
yeah, this can't be real." And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of think it's gonna be real. It was just, it was, man. The plots were like 90% spot on. I was like, wow,
So sad.
so much garbage.
And put these idiots in charge of these movies.
And it's not just the story, the plot, it's the pacing of the movies themselves is kind of like jarring and off-putting. I don't know how to describe that.
The Rise of Skywalker, the whole first, I don't know, third to a half of the movie, it felt like a freaking Michael Bay film, which
Yeah.
there's people that like Michael Bay films and everything, but personally I don't. And it's not a freaking Star Wars movie. You know, you don't hire Michael Bay to do Star Wars.
But even like I would even argue that even he would do a better job than what they did, because it's like we're not seeing what we want to see. We're not. I mean, it wasn't very exciting. It's like characters you don't want to love. So what happened to Hero's Journey? What happened to liking the character? Yeah.
Well, you'll probably argue with me, but freaking Luke had a hero's journey in the previous movie. The story arc as an individual movie for The Last Jedi was the hero's journey, and Luke's, I don't know. I've never been a huge Luke Skywalker fan. I've always been a Han Solo dude. But that was I don't know. I thought that was a good end to the character. Although, granted, the character shouldn't have ended in that freaking movie, right?
Wasn't the point of that movie that
to the end of the trilogy? Trilogy.
It might have been even a softer blow to like people's expectations or whatnot if Luke had more time in the first movie, because all he does is it's like a little ending shot. It's like most people probably wanted to see him that were buying tickets. What are you gonna say?
Who, me? Oh yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't like the point of that movie like that everybody has the Force, and it was like everybody had, because it was at the end of it like the little boy had the Force.
Oh.
And it was all like everybody has the Force now.
No, it was just the boy. I don't know what
they didn't follow through with that. I thought that was the thing.
Not at all.
Okay, whatever.
That may have helped Rey's character be more likable, actually.
I don't know.
Because they were like, okay, she has the Force.
Because that's what I was thinking. Because I thought the first movie is all like the Force it was called The Force Awakens, right. And then the bald Gollum guy was all like, "There's an awakening in the Force. Have you felt it?" And so in the other movie where it was like, okay, the kid has the Force. Oh, that means like more people are just going to start having the Force because there's more energy. Whatever I don't know, hooey wooey woo, Star Wars, blah blah blah, Force magic or whatever. I don't know. That's what I thought was going on.
All right,
I agree with that.
If they did any follow through with that at all, then it was that Finn, the Stormtrooper character, was Force sensitive in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys talked about it, but I wanted Finn to be like a Jedi and stuff. I was like, he's already fighting with the lightsaber. What's the point of that if they didn't allow him to go down that path as a character?
And somehow he's super powered because he could survive being sliced in half by a lightsaber in the first movie.
Yeah, because Disney doesn't understand how lightsabers work.
Yeah,
They're like
the first
baseball
one, right,
bat.
man?
Yeah, I saw the first one.
Where
I saw the first two of them.
where Kylo Ren just straight up jacks him in the back with his freaking lightsaber.
Yeah, I
Whacks him
remember
like a baseball bat. Like,
that. Mhm. I feel like I've seen that movie only once.
I've seen it like more than I should have.
I remember that final sequence though, where they're like fighting, and then like the forest is falling apart, and then they just like, and the ground splits open, and they're both on other sides of it.
Yeah, that's very convenient.
I was like, oh, okay. You know, there's a scene in the car chase one, the second one. I don't know, where they're getting chased. I still don't understand it. Like the Yoda wannabe female character lady with the eyes and the glasses. That scene where they're like communicating with her, and it's like she's like flying around fighting.
Yeah,
and it doesn't make any sense. If you go back,
Which scene was that? The casino or what? I mean,
no, what
before that.
to go find the guy in the casino, Mascana.
But what's weird about it is that she's like, obvious they're communicating with her like through like some camera, but it's like who's holding the camera, and it's just really
maybe it was Kylo. I don't.
No one.
He's like involved in each Force vision.
It was really weird.
Dude, you could buy
Keeping
those.
his way in.
It's you just have the little camera on the little on the floaty thing around. She has one of those while she's in battle.
I guess I just feel like they just wanted to have this like little character in the movie. They were like, we need this scene now.
The camera.
Oh man! I also didn't understand how they got off the ship and went to that planet and then got back on it when the whole point was that they were being chased. Does that make sense in Star Wars canon?
No, it doesn't.
I don't think that whole trilogy makes sense. Like, here's my question: why? Okay, so you know how Kylo was in Rey's dreams and had this connection and all this weird stuff. Like, I thought SJWs were against rape culture because every time he was like doing this rapey Force weird stuff, it's like he's like violating her personal Force space.
Mind rape.
It was like against everything they stood for.
You know, there's an episode of Star Trek Next Generation where Deanna Troi is getting like mind raped. I feel like she gets mind raped multiple times in that show, though. So there's multiple times where Deanna is getting like mind raped by somebody. There's one in particular where it's like this guy is like legitimately like raping her in her like dreams or something at night, and she's like tossing and turning like, oh, it's in my mind.
I remember something like that. Yeah, that was a big Trekkie for sure.
Oh yeah,
before Discovery, but
yeah, Discovery is not good. I've told Mike how I've tried to watch it a total of 2 times now, and I got further the last time. I got to the Mirror Universe stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I can't take it anymore, and I just couldn't. I still haven't gotten past the first season.
I never even tried.
It's not worth it, in my opinion.
The Klingons and stuff.
Oh god, it's so painful. That's what kills it. The Klingon stuff just kills it for me. Like, God, we've never had to like sit through a whole scene of them just speaking in Klingon. Just give me English. Like, I don't want. Like, I'm fine with watching foreign films sometimes, but I'm just like, when I don't need it, just give me just regular talking. And also because the actors, they, I guess, coached them to speak in a specific way that's like grating. It's like and I'm just like, stop.
It's like Rammstein's music.
Basically. Oh man, yeah, so many bad decisions with that show.
Best actor to play a Klingon ever.
The girl in Voyager and Worf. I don't know.
Baylana.
I like that character.
I hate. Okay. Let's just agree on Worf.
Okay, so I was a teenage boy when I watched Voyager. That's
okay, why. Now I get it. But 7 of 9, that's my chick. I love 7 of 9.
But that's not Klingon. That's why I didn't say her name. But
I like the sisters, whoever they were
You
like
guys are boring movies.
those sisters that were like the House of Duras, I think they were.
I know, right?
Yeah, they've got
Like,
like
what
huge
guy
boobs.
doesn't
The
like
boobs
that?
are giant, man. They were like so just like right there.
They're very aggressive. They're
Yeah,
like,
they were really aggressive.
Seriously, Christopher Plummer was the best.
wait,
Nah.
which?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was.
I know what you're talking about.
You're talking about from the original, one of the original series
The
movies.
movie, right?
Movie,
Yeah.
Undiscovered Country.
Yeah, I remember him. He's pretty good.
He's freaking great.
Good
Come
actor.
on, Worf though. Worf is the
No way,
Worf-
Worf is not as good an actor as freaking Christopher Plummer.
Yeah, I guess not. But he's the most prominent Klingon of Star Trek.
But yeah, I agree. But his character's more beloved,
Yeah.
of course.
You know, Worf is my guy, and I love how they like took his character and expanded on him so much more in Deep Space Nine, which is why I kind of feel like it's a betrayal of Worf and Michael Dorn and everything he did for the Klingon race, for them to like totally change what they looked like in Discovery. Like, why would you do that? Like, Worf established that, you know what I mean? You know, I guess.
I don't know if
just
it's
annoying.
whoever decided that wanted to put their own creative touch on it or ego or what. It's hard to explain like why they would do that.
They look stupid. The makeup looks dumb. I hate the way they look.
It does look ridiculous. And
Unrelated Coma says Worf was lame. He was a jabroni. All right. Christopher Lloyd. Oh, that's right. I forgot. He was a Klingon too.
Mm-hmm.
He was in that same movie, right?
Was he?
Undiscovered Country?
thought it was.
Christopher Lloyd.
The Romulan.
21 gigawatts.
There's a Romulan girl in that movie, those old movies. I can't remember her name. The Christy Alley or
Oh
not
yeah,
Christy
she was.
Allen.
Vulcan.
Christy Allen was in
Christy
Star
Alley.
Trek. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
But she was a Vulcan.
Okay.
I remember. I
Right.
remember seeing her.
She played Saavik. If I remember.
You know, Jean Grey from the X-Men is in an episode of TNG. What's that actress's name?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like that
man.
episode. She comes in because she's like this irresistible woman, and everyone's like in love with her, and they can't resist because she's like, and she's supposed to imprint on like a mate or something. I forget what the whole deal is. I think she like wakes up too soon. She was like in a stasis, and so she comes out, and like all the men on the ship like want her or something.
Yeah, I remember her.
But then who does she end up? I think she ends up like falling for Picard. I think.
Is her name Famke Janssen or something?
Yeah. Bob Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She was in another movie, like a really crazy psycho chick movie with James Spade back in the day, back in the 90s, I think. Can't remember what it was called, but it was pretty hot movie.
Does anybody in chat know when the new episode of Picard comes out? Someone told me the other day.
every Friday, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know.
I think it is because I'm gonna watch it. I saw the first one.
I watched it. I was down with that first episode. I know a lot of people were hating on it, but I felt like it's Picard. It's Picard 20 years later. I don't feel like they crapped on the character. I feel like, you know, Data always was like in search of other androids, of other beings like him. And there's even an episode where he tries to create a daughter. And so I could buy that Data had a painting of a daughter. So all from what I've seen so far, I'm buying it and I'm interested.
Yeah. I went into it with very low expectations. I read some articles and I watched it and I was like pleasantly surprised. I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I dig
Not
it.
bad.
I dig it so far. We'll see what they do.
I thought it was going to be another one of those Ray, Mary Sue type things,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. So
It's not like it makes sense why she's kind of like Beast, because like you got Data was the most powerful member of the Enterprise, like, and the smartest. He was the strongest and the smartest. He could take out anybody.
yeah, definitely one of my favorite.
And they even have that little scene in the Picard show where she's like on the computer panel, like going like real quick, like Data would. Do you remember that? Do you see that shot? I was like, this is like Data.
Yeah, I didn't figure it out until the painting thing, but
Yeah.
I watched it a second time. I was like, oh, that's cool. He's
Mhm.
actually showing her android ability or whatever.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna make me pay for this stupid CBS All Access thing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Free trial.
You can get that free trial. Yeah. Wait till like all the episodes are out. Get the free trial and just watch it.
I know. Just wait till the last episode and then like, okay, free trial, and then watch them all and then cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still stuck paying for Disney Plus because of Mandalorian. Because now my kid wants to watch all the Disney movies on
At least Disney Plus is only like $7 for now, or like $6 for now,
the
before they inevitably jack up the price.
second month, $60.
You know, Netflix used to be like $7. I feel like people forget that Netflix used to be really cheap, and now it's like $15.
Yeah, and they sent you DVDs physically.
Yeah, I remember that. You get like DVDs shipped. Because originally that was like their whole thing. It was like Netflix. You order flicks off of line and they send them to you. And then streaming was like secondary.
Well, because they were competing with Blockbuster.
Uh-huh. And I remember Blockbuster tried to do like their own like Netflix type service thing. Yeah. But they failed.
It's funny, dude, when institutions like that, I mean, Blockbuster was a thing since, gosh, the 80s. And then late.
I'm a Blockbuster kid. I grew up on that.
Yeah.
Same.
Right?
So much
I remember
nostalgia.
turning those tapes in
Yep.
to those bins.
The little bin that you
register.
drop it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
The nostalgia is just like going in the video store. We were just talking about this. It's just like, I miss it.
Dude, you know what sucks is going in there. My wife and my niece could never freaking make up their mind what to get. So we would literally be in Blockbuster for like 2 hours. I'm like,
no
watch a movie. It's like, can I just rent a movie? I'll drop you guys off. I'll rent a movie. I'll bring it back by the time you guys are done deciding.
Kids born today won't even have like a slight concept of Blockbuster. Like, what?
I know.
You went into a store to rent movies? Like, it's already starting to sound like, I was just saying, like, even like the idea of like watching a home video sounds dated, because like streaming is just what people do now.
It's true.
I do like Redbox. I thought that when I first saw Redbox that it initially would be a bad idea, because then like, wouldn't people be rude and like put the movies in like all dirty and scratched up?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess maybe they're not
charged. They don't want to get charged for like, I think it'll charge a credit card for the whole movie.
Yeah.
It.
And like,
even
does
Redbox
it
is
scan
starting to die. I don't know. I've never even used Redbox. No, I've never even used it.
It's I like it. It's all right.
Yeah.
I got Joker. I rented the Joker out of it.
Oh, did you
Pretty
see
good.
it yet?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Someone the other day on Twitter, I was seeing them. They were, oh no, it was like SNL. It was an SNL skit, and they were like, the Joker is about white male rage.
Oh, that's the stupid man.
Yeah, I responded to that tweet on Twitter, and I was like, how is it about white male rage? It's like, you missed the entire point of the movie. Like, everyone is wearing the Joker mask in the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point is
Probably
like,
didn't watch it.
the Joker is all of us, you know? Well, you haven't watched it yet?
Oh no, I watched it.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying they probably didn't watch it the way they were
exactly,
talking about it.
exactly.
Like, everything's white supremacy to them, I guess.
People wanted to hate on that movie before it was even out. They were just like, let's just hate on this movie. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
Joaquin showed him. He's pretty, awesome actor.
So amazing.
God, he's so good. Yeah. And I hate that it's like he's getting like this awesome spotlight, and everyone's like labeling this movie as something that it isn't. And it's really annoying. I really kind of feel bad, because it's a really good movie. And I remember like going in, because I didn't even want to see it. I was just like, whatever, like Joker, whatever. And I went in and I saw it, and I was like shocked, because I'm like, oh my God, I just actually saw a real movie that actually was about something and actually meant something. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I was tricked into seeing a real movie. Because like usually you go to movies and it's just like popcorn flick, like doesn't mean anything. You forget it in 20 minutes. But The Joker is a movie that I thought about for like a long time after I saw it because it had real meaning. That was the deeper than just the surface level. And I dug it. It's very relatable.
That's probably their intention. The intention of good storytelling is to provoke thought, I guess, and entertain at the same time.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
So, Quinn, do you really think I should have Joe Biden kind of like putting his hands on Bill Clinton's shoulders?
I don't know. Maybe he wants to. It already just kind of looks like he's sniffing them anyway. Like you could
What in the world is this?
Like you could just have like Bill Clinton's scent like wafting into Joe Biden's nose, and him just like.
Is that AOC on the left?
Yeah.
Mike is doing this like this comic where it's like all the Democrats merged together and they're like bad, and then like the conservative women come and they're all like, ah! And I don't know.
You managed to make her look better than she actually does. Oh my gosh.
And then there's Al Franken and Bill Maher.
Oh, I know who that is on the bottom right.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. That's her screaming that she's
Pelosi Palpatine right there.
Pelosi. Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
I am Pelosi.
Trump must be impeached.
So, yep. And then the next page is kind of the climactic page.
Oh my god. This looks pretty good, huh?
It's fun, dude.
I'll have to see this one.
It is fun.
This is funny.
What am I doing? D. There we go.
Creepy Joe.
Uncle Joe.
Joe Biden is so creepy.
Everybody's got an uncle like
And he's like, his brain is just melting. I think somebody just showed him the polls. Because like there was this one like reporter that walked up to him and they were like, "Why did you attack Bernie?" And he just goes like, blah, 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 blah. Like I'm not even joking. He's just like blah 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 blah. He can't even talk.
Did you hear one of the latest things he said about something about kids in a pool rubbing lotion on his hairy legs?
Yeah. He said I used to let the kids, and he said the kids like to come up and like feel my legs and rub them. And I'm like, dude, you know what you sound like right now? A
like,
pedophile.
What memory is that from? Is that like some kind of long lost spirit cooking memory or what?
It was on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
I know. Like where? Like I try to ponder. Okay, what scenario was Creepy Joe in that caused him to say this?
You know what? I can't think of a single situation where I would let children rub my leg, rub my thigh. It's just like crazy.
In a pool.
That's it. That's nuts, dude.
With hair on your leg. This all circumstances combined, it seems implausible.
And the fact that he thought it was just okay to just tell that story was weird.
I don't know, dude.
And then YouTube doesn't help censoring the videos of Creepy Joe.
Oh my god, YouTube.
Anti-meme.
Telling you, dude, I'm still 60-40. This guy's gonna be your nominee.
Let's hope not. He is the media is trying to be like Joe Biden still has a chance, but he has stagnated in the polls. Well, it looks like Bernie is like coming out ahead.
Oh, I know, but you forget that the DNC cheats.
Yeah. You know, there's already that thing in Iowa where they were saying they were gonna like count votes through like a phone app, and people were like, they're gonna use it to cheat. And if it comes out, look, I'm saying if it comes out and then like Biden just like smashes Bernie in Iowa, when all of these polls have shown like Bernie with this like clear crazy trend, this is it for the Democratic Party. If they cheat again right here and like force Joe Biden on everybody over Bernie, when the people clearly want Bernie, when the Democrats clearly want Bernie, this is it. This is it. I don't know if anybody will ever trust the Democrats again.
How could they trust them after the last time?
I know, right?
I feel like trust is already at an all-time low, but this will be the coup de grace. This will be it.
You mean the coup de grace?
The coup de grace?
It's the coup de grace.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks like he's gonna be the nominee, but it's there's too much. Like, how can you ignore the Creepy Joe stuff? It's like it's on video.
I'm hanging it up. I gotta quit. I don't mean to. I really wanted to finish it, but I'm just tapping out. I'm tired.
You have no drive.
Go get some coffee, young man. Only 2:30 in the morning.
You disgust me. It's actually 5:30 here.
I know, but you just got up.
Yeah, I have a crazy, ridiculous schedule. I'm about to go start editing after I eat ice cream.
Well, Liam was like, "Don't go, Mike. I gotta go. I can't stay here all night. It's just." Mike Stewart, thanks for popping in. How can people follow you, man?
It is Twitter.com, Mike Stewart Art.
Mike Stewart.
And then Instagram, M Stewart Art.
It's right there on the screen. Quinn, what's this Tadia thing?
Tadia is my upcoming graphic novel about witches. You can find the link. Someone should post it in the chat. Someone post the link in the chat to get put on the mailing list. And you can get all sorts of exclusive things by getting put on the mailing list. So check me out.
It's true. It's true. And follow Quinn on Quinn's Ideas on YouTube. And this is Mike Miller. Please buy my comic book at LoneStarComic.com if you haven't already. If you have, then thank you very much, and buy another one. Subscribe, like, share, do all that fun stuff. Thank you to my guests. Thank you to my chat. Everybody who came to watch these past 3.5 hours, thank you for spending your time with us. Have a great night. Aloha, and we will see you next time.
And now for something completely different.
Later.